next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
We're back. It's Crunch Time here on Woodward Sports. Jeff Iafrate, Booner, KG, Caleb Zarnick. We got a lot to get to. Day after Stevie Y is out as GM. We spent a lot of time on that yesterday, but today we're going to kind of rehash some of it. There's still stuff that came out yesterday that we didn't really get to address. We got to talk about what the hell is going on outside. Man. We're getting hotboxed by Canada, and it's revenge for what happened in the Winter Olympics.
Hotboxed by Canada is so crazy.
I
haven't heard that yet.
That's what's going on, people. I don't know if you've been outside.
It's insane.
But even if you're inside, to be honest with you, you kind of get like a little hint of it.
It smells like smoke in here.
It's a bonfire, yeah. It's basically just one big bonfire. It's like the whole world is having a bonfire.
We're hickory smoked sausage.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about it in our studio, like I don't know if people could tell on camera, I could tell just looking at the lights and like up in the air, is somehow like we don't have windows open, doors are closed. It's smoky in here.
It's the vents, man.
It's insane. I thought like at least it would be like, all right, I get to go inside. Like we can't
Am I
get
the only one that could smell it in here?
No, that's why I'm saying you could see
sure.
the smoke.
Yeah.
I'm looking up in the ceiling here, and it's smoky in here. When you go from the offices to in here, some reason with the studio, you can legit just see the difference. Like
there's no open
foggy.
windows. It's the vents. It's coming.
Yeah, I guess. But what's crazy is the AC in here doesn't fully work, but the smoke will get in.
I know, right?
Hey, no, the vent. They'll make sure the smoke gets in here, but the clean air won't. Which is crazy. It smells crazy in here right now. I can't believe this.
Well, it's crazy. I got home yesterday. It was fine. And then about an hour later, I go outside. Fog.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what happened. I was like, so I had to go on the internet, find out Canada's dealing with some wildfires. And all of Michigan is basically going to be engulfed. And it's kind of going around right now. So
this is becoming a yearly thing, by the way, with Canada.
Yeah, really.
We need to send who's the wildfire bear?
Smokey.
We need to send Smokey the Bear up to Canada because they're probably 50 years late on Smokey the Bear. They have wildfires every single summer.
It seems like that.
Like, can we get this thing figured out? Is there like a precaution or some steps that they can take to where this? I mean, I'm not familiar with Canada. I didn't even know they had this many forests.
Yeah,
but something like. This is insane.
This is the worst it's been.
It's the worst. Every year it just keeps happening.
Yeah, normally we hear about, the air quality is going to be bad, but we can still go outside, and most of the time it's like, okay, you really don't even notice. This is the worst.
This is the worst.
Ever seen it.
I mean, there's been times like the last 2 or 3 years where you get the alert, hey, air quality not great, and all of that. But I mean,
people wearing masks and shit now. This is COVID again.
This is insane.
He mask it up.
So we got poop COVID, and we got the air quality's bad. What a world we're living in right now.
I know, right? What a time.
Yeah, you can't trust lettuce. You can't trust kale. Apparently, Caleb told me I can't trust pretty much any food. I'm drinking water.
Right now, it's not safe to breathe or eat. So.
hey, the microplastics in the water. It's like, bro, can we have nothing?
Yeah, what are we allowed to do?
Nothing.
Like what are we allowed to do?
Just exist and then die one day.
Yeah. Is the water good to drink? Are we allowed to drink water?
Not out of plastic water bottles, the microplastics.
That's what they're telling me.
I do every day.
And then if you do the Detroit tap, it's all kind of lead in that shit. Been lead in there for years. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't want to turn into a Ninja Turtle, so it's just like, I don't know what to do.
Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I would love to turn into a Ninja Turtle.
That's how it's trending, man.
You would make a good Ninja Turtle.
That would be sick, dude. I don't even know what my Ninja Turtle name would be.
Raphael, because you're aggressive as fuck.
Yeah, I like that. Come on.
Maybe just Booner.
Yeah, I think it just
Booner is a perfect
All right,
Ninja
I
Turtle
like that. And I get to eat pizza. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of stuff's going on right now. We're dealing with, this whole freaking, like you said, the produce and all. You can't eat lettuce. You can't eat any food, apparently, according to Caleb Zarnick. And then, you look outside and it's, it's what we're dealing with.
Boy, we're going to have stories for our grandkids,
man.
What?
So, everyone out there, man,
you don't know what it's like to not eat lettuce.
For the at-risk people, be careful out there. I mean, I'm good. I don't got, I can't imagine people got like asthma and stuff that. You're dealing with this, so stay safe out there.
Work outside, all that.
Yeah, work outside. You're dealing with this, so stay safe out there. We got people in the chat. I see you guys chiming in as well, and we're going to get to the Steve Yzerman, Dylan Larkin stuff because I already see a comment from Scott. It was reported the damage between Larkin and the Red Wings is irreversible. I think it's a little too late. I think Larkin's still gone. We will talk about that. Do I he just deleted the comment. Okay. I don't know how you regretted it. He says he kind of threw shade at Canada that deleted the comment. So I think that
Canada must have got to
Canada
him.
shade is accepted today, I feel like.
yeah, Mike says, thanks, Canada.
Yeah.
Mike says also, it's Silent effing Hill out here.
No, seriously.
I don't know what Silent Hill is, but yeah, sure it is.
It's a video game in which it's a horror video game. And you
Okay.
start off as a dude looking for his daughter, and the city is covered in fog.
Okay.
Literally. The whole city is just
Yeah.
fog.
I honestly thought Silent Hill, I thought it was like a war event that happened.
Oh, you
That's
do-
what I was thinking. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, I thought
Battle
the
was
same
Silent
thing.
Hill.
Caleb, you're not that
I'm with
much younger
Caleb
than
on
I
that.
am, man. You're not.
I'm with
Well, what
Caleb
does that
on
have
that,
to do
though.
with
I'm not
anything?
familiar with Silent Hill.
It's really good. You're familiar with like Resident Evil, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
number
Yeah.
2 to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense then. I didn't play Resident Evil 2, but I'm familiar. I just
Detroit
didn't play
Dabber
it.
says it's going to be worse for our grandkids.
Because these damn phones.
I know, right?
'Cause these
the internet.
the internet.
Fucking social media, man.
Oh man, that's funny. Let's talk about what's going on lately. I want to read this report. I know we put it out, and different reactions I'll add to the report being out, but I'm reading this thing anyway. The report is, and again, this is just a report. We're just repeating information. Okay.
You're reading words on the screen.
This was talked about,
Woodward-
I believe, from beat reporters.
Yes. Woodward Sports didn't report it. We're reporting the report. Okay,
Words
we're
off the screen,
sharing.
people.
We're reading
Yes.
words off a screen. So this is the report. It says here, there's a belief that the rift between Dylan Larkin and Steve Yzerman began after Henrik Zetterberg retired, and Larkin wasn't named Red Wings captain for over 2 years. That report comes from Ansar Khan, MLive, Jason Greger's show. It was reported on. So Zetterberg retired. Larkin wasn't named the Red Wings captain for over 2 years. And that's what the report indicates, or at least is saying that maybe the rift started with Larkin and Stevie Y. Okay?
Interesting.
Again,
I'm
reading words off the
interested,
screen.
by the way, I'm interested in the start date, right? Like Zetterberg retired, 2018?
Yeah.
Yzerman started in 2019. So is it the first 2 years of Yzerman's tenure? When did Dylan Larkin?
Yes, that's what
Essentially,
he's,
that's what it
he's
is, yeah.
referring. Yes, that's what
Okay,
the
so it
report.
was basically the first 2 years of Dylan Larkin's tenure.
He wasn't.
When did
captain.
Dylan Larkin get the captaincy?
Well, it wasn't the first 2 years. It was after that.
When did
So
Dylan?
2021.
Yeah, he got it. The report saying his first 2 years.
Yeah, it's 2021, January
Yeah.
13th, 2021. So yeah, it took 2 years for them to name Larkin that.
Yeah.
Yzerman takes over in 2019. 2 years, kind of lines up.
And
honestly.
Larkin probably felt a way, hey, I've been here since 2014. You know, I'm one of the best players on the team. Yada, yada. But
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like, again, that's wearing the C is something that you just have to earn. Especially, I mean, Stevie Y steps in, like
You're not his guy,
you're
per
not
se.
you're not his guy per se. Like that's a real thing. And am I gonna, again, going off the report, am I gonna side with Larkin for the? No, I'm not. I don't think this is one of those things where it's like, oh, this is where we just pour fuel on the Stevie Y fire. Like this is something. It's like, yeah, dude, like you didn't get it for the first 2 years, but what happened after that? You ended up getting it, and you retained it. So I think it's kind of a, I don't want to say a nothing burger, but to be upset over that's ridiculous in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
if that report is true.
I can get though, like a player. I can get why a player would. Like if you're expecting to get the captaincy and Yzerman comes in and waits, like I can get both sides of it. I do. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Yzerman was right to wait or Larkin was wrong to be mad about it. Like no, I think Larkin has a case to in that moment.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I'm not that I'm getting passed up, but like, hey, what's taking so long?
Yeah.
Especially 2 seasons through it, right? Like especially in that time when Yzerman takes over, you're trying to rebuild and you're supposed to be like the kind of the middle piece of the full rebuild. At that time, everyone looked at Larkin as that kind of like, hey, he is the heart of this rebuild. You could see why maybe deep down Larkin had a little bit of a little anger towards it.
Yeah.
And again, if they're over the last year or so, we know that they weren't maybe on talking terms or there was butting of the heads or whatever it was that these reports come out, then yeah, it probably started early on in Steve Yzerman's tenure.
And it never improved. That's the key point.
Yeah.
Because if this was the starting point and this is what he was mad about, then you can kind of understand how things have unfolded until this point. And it got worse from there, deteriorated.
Yeah.
To the point where maybe they weren't even talking for a year and a half, which is absolutely asinine that your GM and the best player on your team that you gave the captaincy aren't having communications. So
I mean, I don't understand. So Larkin was upset about not getting the captaincy after
That it got delayed.
It got delayed because they sucked.
Yeah, but it got delayed 2 years. He was there for so long. You
At
probably
that point.
in his
That's
mind, you
true.
got to put yourself in his position. He was probably like, "Hey, I'm going to be the best player on this team. I'm technically the captain of this team now that Zetterberg's gone.
Yeah.
But you're just not going to give me the C. And like I get, and I don't understand. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know how all NHL teams work and how long usually they go without a captain. But I would assume, hey, 1 year you're like, okay, let's go a year without it. Let's see if someone steps up to it.
Right.
I'm under the impression that Dylan Larkin, it was clear he was going to be the captain, and then they wait another year, and it's a second year. And if you're Larkin, you're going, hey, I'm in line to get this thing. What's taking so long?
You got to go earn it. Like, look at the past guys that have worn the C in Detroit. Like, they're NHL legends.
Yeah,
like, you got to go earn it. Like,
literally
not
discussed
down
that
that at all. But we all know, and if you study Stevie Y's like communication style and some of his mannerisms up until this point, he probably didn't give Dylan much explanation as to why he didn't give him the C. Because I think it was something to where maybe he inquired about it. Maybe he tried to go to the top, ask about it, and Stevie didn't really give him a clear answer. Now he feels slighted, and thus begins the relationship between Stevie Y and Dylan Larkin. Already on a bad note.
Again, I know like our job is to have like these bold takes, but again, this is one of those things where I see both sides.
I do.
Like I see why Yzerman's like, hey, for those 2 years we want to wait. Like you got to prove that you are the captain. And I can't go back to those 2 years and fully be like, oh, this is what it was. But I also see the Larkin side too. Like I see the both sides if that's the report and that's what's real. And I hate to do that because I know it's like, hey, choose a side. This is just one of those things where it's like I guess I can see both sides and why a player would be frustrated in regards to that.
Yeah, I get it. Do I understand why he would be frustrated? Yes. Do I think it's right to be? And is it fair? No, I do not. Yeah. Like I that's where I'm at. Like he's a human. Of course he's going to be upset. But if I'm trusting anyone to determine whether or not someone deserves to wear that C, it's Steve Yzerman, like the captain. You know what I mean? Like I think he's good enough to evaluate. And Caleb, you brought up a great point. We've talked about it on this show. Go look up who's worn that in Red Wings history.
Legends.
And you tell me. You know what I mean? Why Stevie waited 2 years? You know what I mean?
Realistically, the side with Larkin, like I get why. Like again, as a human, like you said, Jeff, get it. But you are right to the sense of like you probably shouldn't hold a grudge, or if that was something that kind of lit the fire into these next different things when it comes to what's happened over the last 2 years, and it was like this was the starting point of their bad relationship. That should not have affected it. So I see. I'm with you on that. You can be mad all you want. Don't let that affect your relationship with your boss.
I mean, Stevie knows he was the youngest. I believe he was the youngest captain in franchise history at the time when he was named captain. He was 20. He was 21, I believe. Yeah. So guy who's the youngest captain in Red Wings history. I think held it for the longest time. There was 19 consecutive seasons. Yeah. So which holds a bit. It's a record in North American professional sports. So, like, if there's anyone who could determine whether or not someone is deserving to wear it, I would lean with Stevie. Right. But where I'll give you this is KG, maybe his communication style can be a little off-putting. I think for sure. Like, it doesn't seem like Stevie's the most outspoken guy to, like, go and communicate openly.
And at the same time, we don't know what that day-to-day was, between those guys and, how they communicated with each other. So, I just think that, if they're not using this report as, oh, this is the basis of what happened between them, because a lot more things happened after that. The team ended up not being good, and you expected Stevie Y to come in here, kind of understand, the Red Wings culture and be able to move this thing forward at a bit of a faster pace than it had been to that point. So, like, all those things combined into one big jumbo, now you get what the hell you get now. So, I can't necessarily be mad at him because Stevie Y has made mistakes in this. Dylan Larkin has also made mistakes in this. I think Sean brought up a great point this morning. It's the Spider-Man meme. Like, nobody is wrong in this situation. There's fault on every single side of this thing, and it's the Red Wings fans that are left holding the bag, and it sucks because this team is not going to be good probably for the foreseeable future, and it sucks.
Let's take a break. We come back. We'll continue this conversation. I got to tell you about our friends over at Planet Fitness and what they're doing right now with the smoky air outside. So Planet Fitness is taking care of not just their customers, but people. That's what they're about, taking care of people. Because right now, Planet Fitness locations in Michigan, Indiana, and Ontario, Canada announced free club access now through Sunday, July 19th. 2026. You heard it correctly. With everything that's going on in the air, the compromised air, go to Planet Fitness until July 19th. The next couple days, you can get in for free. If you're listening, again, in Michigan, Indiana, Ontario, Canada, go and check out Planet Fitness.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Thrive Energy pouches give me the energy and clarity to find and beat the shit out of every opportunity that shows its face.
Live and direct, I'm back on set action. Create the wave, we cannonball splash 'em. Mic cord swinging, get your head shot. Point blank, dead stop. 16 bars in a headlock.
Thrive Energy pouches are for the people who actually want to win, not for the crybabies out there who are happy with a participation award. There's zero sugar, so give Thrive a try.
Jameer Gibbs, breakout season, loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone, touchdown!
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around.
All right, let me tell you guys about Founders and All Day IPA. This year it marks their 15th year anniversary of Founders Brewing and the legendary All Day IPA. It's a citrusy, crisp, and refreshing with a perfectly balanced taste. And at 4.7 ABV, it is built to go the entire distance for the entire game. When we're watching the Red Wings this year and they might be struggling a little bit, have an All Day IPA, man. We're going to need it. Get $5 shorts at any Art and Jake's locations right now in Michigan on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And as always, please drink responsibly.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. Do us a favor. Hit the like button on the stream. I'm seeing these comments still talking about Canada. Greg Thomas, Canada smoking. Someone else said Canada's bong's on fire. Mike G said that. So, yeah, stay safe out there.
Yeah, don't go outside. I mean, I know it's the summertime, people. You want to go outside. This is just one of those times. Just stay. Even here for us, though, we stay indoors. We're in the smoke.
Yeah, you're in a tough position here. Let's continue this Stevie Y, Dylan Larkin. So I did see the report as well, or at least I'm here. You know, you hear things, and Sean has spoken about it as well. Sean Belesian, and he actually had to take today about Larkin. We're going to get into Larkin stuff as well, staying or going. But the locker room, right? Like, how does the locker room feel about Stevie Y? That's something that we haven't talked enough about because we know Larkin and Stevie are dealing with their own personal personal beef going on right now. But how do the other guys feel about everything? Right? Like, because that's something that I think people probably need to focus a little more on because you still got some pretty good players in that locker room. I know, we could talk about where the Red Wings are heading, and it's going to be interesting. You got a restricted free agent right now that they have to work through. The future of DeBrincat, they have to work through and figure those things out. But right now, I think one of the bigger conversations we need to start having is the others and how they feel. It'd be a great time to talk to D-Mac about it because he probably, if anyone knows anything about that locker room, or at least being in a locker room with that franchise and what it means as an NHL player, it's D-Mac.
This is what I was thinking over the last kind of 12, 24 hours as we get off the show yesterday. You start to kind of think and break down every angle to this and try and figure it out because we don't have reports. We don't know anything until reports come out, and you're sitting there going like what is Yzerman's kind of thing? Why did this happen? And what is it, June 15th yesterday? Why is this coming out, or July 15th, I apologize. All of a sudden on July 15th, he just traded Kosa. Like, he just did the NHL draft. Why would they have let him do all of that if this is the thing, right? If they knew this was going to happen, they should have done it a month ago. Something obviously in that building in the last kind of week came up, and Chris Ilitch and that front office, they had to make a decision of the direction they were going to go in. And it was like, why is it such a sudden thing? I started thinking last night in the regards of, put yourself in one. And I know yesterday I brought it up. I felt like I was kind of the only one that was on this side of the Larkin stuff a little bit, where it was like, hey, maybe Larkin does end up staying. Maybe Larkin was the kind of the straw that broke the camel's back within Chris Ilitch. And Chris Ilitch, you look at, hey, you got to choose either Yzerman or Larkin, and maybe Chris Ilitch did choose Yzerman or Larkin. And then when I start thinking more about that, you start going, wait a second, why would that be the case? And I heard this morning as well, confirmed by Sean, the locker room. And then you sit there and you go, wait a second, maybe Steve Yzerman did lose the locker room fully. Maybe that was actually a real thing to where, and I told you guys on the break, if you've ever been in a locker room and if you've ever been on a team, as much as you want to communicate with your coaches and front offices and all of that, players are always going to talk.
Yeah.
And players are always going to be on the same page. Larkin is going on the golf course with DeBrincat, Patrick Kane, all these guys. He's out on the boat. They're all on the boat together. They're hanging out together in the offseason. Last year we were at the Rocket Classic. They're all in a group together, walking together. Like, these guys hang out. They're really good friends off the ice. You don't think, guys, that Larkin requesting this trade had anything to do with maybe the whole locker room coming together and being like, yeah, this is a disaster right now. Like, we're tired of this. Because realistically, like, they don't have the worst team in the world. Is it great? No, it's not. We know it's not. But, like, they have talent on this roster. And they're always like that 1 or 2 pieces away. You don't think DeBrincat coming here a couple years ago, like, you don't think DeBrincat's like, dude, I want to win.
Yeah.
You don't think Patrick Kane at his age was re-signing last year here being like, I want to win? Like, these guys want to win. So there is frustration when your front office and your GM doesn't pull the trigger on these big moves. That has to be frustrating. So, yeah, Larkin isn't – you can't sit here and say, hey, Larkin's the only one that wanted to request a trade that was mad. You would almost have to guarantee that there's been conversations between players within this organization. If you just, again, this is my new catchphrase, connect the dots.
Yeah.
Connect the dots. Larkin's your captain. He's the one that has a say in that locker room. He's the one that probably has the best relationship with every player in that locker room. And he's the one that requested the trade. And yesterday, what did we say, boys? How do we know Larkin didn't do that as his final chess piece to kind of get something moving in this organization?
Yeah.
And if he was the one that do it, guys, if DeBrincat requested a trade, Yzerman would still have a job. He would. He would still have his job. If Patrick Kane, I know he's a free agent, but if like another one of these players requested a trade, guess what? Yzerman would still have a job, but your captain did it. He was the one that kind of stepped up. So I think there's a side of there where we have to connect the dots, be a little realistic. Hey, maybe Yzerman just lost the locker room completely, guys. And if that's the case, guess what's going to probably happen, or there's a better chance of happening?
Yeah.
Dylan Larkin wearing that C next year and returning to this roster. I know there's people in the chat who are going back and forth saying there's no way the fans hate him, blah, blah, blah. No, when it comes out that the whole locker room was lost by Steve Yzerman and Larkin was the one that kind of took the initiative to make that move, then no, I think fans, if I'm being honest, I'm not going to tell the fans what to do, but I would think that fans start to kind of turn back towards Larkin and go, okay, like that's on us then a little bit. Am I wrong on that? Like, you guys see that flip?
I don't think you are.
I mean, I think, yes, you are right that Yzerman probably lost the entire locker room. Like, these guys, DeBrincat, Raymond, Sider, Kane, they were probably all pissed. They're probably like, look, at these trade deadlines, we didn't – obviously they traded for Falk last year, but like these other trade deadlines when they were in a position to do something, they didn't. They were probably angry, yes. But Dylan Larkin being your captain and these guys – these young players probably look up to a player like Dylan Larkin and him essentially saying, you guys deal with this. I'm getting the fuck out of here and I'm requesting a trade. I don't know how that looks in a locker room with these young guys. Like, if he comes back and he's still wearing that C, are they still going to respect him as their captain? Because he just requested a trade out of here and basically said, you guys deal with this. You guys deal with Yzerman. You guys deal with whatever's going to happen these next couple years. I am out. And I understand he wants to win, and he's played a lot of years here, and he is frustrated. But, I mean, it's kind of you're leaving your teammates out to dry.
But they're
that's
players.
How I feel about
they're
it.
players too. You don't think that they understand the business side of this, and of course, dealing with somebody like a Stevie Y who doesn't really give all his cards up, is pretty close to the vest in terms of moves for this team, not being very vocal. You don't think they understand that part of it? Like, it's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah, but that's their. I get it. Like,
yeah,
I get
they
that's what you're
talk.
saying,
They have
but
conversations.
Yeah, they get it's business. But if he comes back, you think they're gonna look at him the same? Like,
If they knew this was coming down the pipe, then I can see them being open to welcome him back or accepting him back. So
I bet you fans, if he came back, they'd change everything in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, we're
Because
fickle as hell.
fans,
That's how
but
fans-
what about the locker room?
The locker,
They'll be
if the
fine. They'll be
locker
fine.
room, Caleb. If again to this whole point, if this happened because of Dylan Larkin and he was unhappy, guess what? And he comes back. The only reason he would come back is because I'm not going to say he did it for the locker room, but that means the locker room was kind of on his side a little bit with
understood,
Yzerman.
yeah.
That's the point. The only thing I'm saying is if he does come back, it's not because of I couldn't go anywhere. Like, it's because he was doing that because the whole locker room was probably tired of who was at the helm. And that's the way for them to go about it instead of maybe them publicly calling out Steve Yzerman and doing it the wrong. He was like, hey, I'll take the bullet on this one. I want out.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy with front office.
Or they just understood if you got to leave, you got to leave.
Yeah, and
bro.
I'm telling you what, if Larkin's the one that's unhappy, I can guarantee you there's other people in that locker room unhappy.
Yeah,
That's
Larkin
my
is.
part.
And
yeah.
honestly, I think you're right. But if he goes, if this whole thing turns out to where Dylan's like, hey, you know what, I'll stay. I'm cool. I'll come back. To me, that speaks volumes about Steve Yzerman.
No, it's an indictment if you ask me.
It's a massive indictment, and it speaks volumes to how people feel underneath Yzerman's umbrella, how the locker room feels about him. Because, yeah, like to what you're saying, Caleb, is there maybe and I can't speak for how people are feeling, I don't know, but let's say there is a part of it where it's like, man, like, I wish he could just stick it out with us. He's leaving. Overwhelmingly, they're going to be like, I get it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. Like Booner was saying, like, these guys obviously hang out. They have great relationships. They talk in the locker room. Like, they know. And they definitely are Team Larkin. I'm almost certain of that. If we asked D-Mac, he'd probably say the same thing. They're probably all Team Larkin.
From almost the top down. Like,
Yeah.
if you all ask Mo Sider right now, I'm sure Mo's like,
would have his back.
They in the trenches
like
every day.
off.
Yeah.
It'd be like, hey, like off record, Mo. Like if you asked him, he'd probably be like, yeah, like.
But
I get
it
what
would
Larkin's
also
doing.
indicate that like the narrative that he wants to win and leave to win or to try and win.
It would disprove that.
It would disprove that, and it would speak more to it was just Yzerman.
But again, to
This guy
that
just
point, like we
stinks.
can get to the weeds with this. Like to me and Justin were having this conversation before the show, and Justin brought up a good point. He's like, well, like let's be honest. If Larkin truly wanted out of Detroit, he would have opened up his no trade clause to a lot more teams than just 3.
Yeah.
Like the only reason he probably did 3, and again, if this was a tactic, guys, people are like, Booner, this is a bad take. No, this isn't even honestly a take from me. This is just me as someone who talks about sports for a living and who is in this world trying to connect the dots without the information, because we don't have any information. But this is like, hey, it's our job to kind of take a look at what we have and be like, all right, what's going on? And I'm trying to look at every angle of it, and this is one of those angles to where if Larkin truly wanted out, he would open that team door open to a lot more teams. Right. And Justin's spot on with that. And if we want to go deeper, maybe the teams he chose, he has some friends on those teams, but maybe he chose those teams because he knew it's going to be hard to trade to those teams.
Yeah.
And he just wanted to get this out there. And his agent, he doesn't have a dumb agent. He has one of the best agents, I'm pretty sure, in the NHL. His agent probably knew, hey, it's going to be tough for them to do this. Like, if we want to set some sort of like, hey, that if we want to make a little noise, we can do these teams.
Right.
These teams are going to have to give up everything to get you.
Yeah.
And they're probably not going to do it. So at least you're opening up this door of you have to choose between me and Yzerman.
And he was still under contract for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So like to your point, I think this was maybe a tactic because you knew it was going to be hard to get traded when you have so many years on your contract. When in the very next year your no trade clause becomes a 10-team no trade clause.
Yep.
So no, I think you spot on with that, Booner.
Because we all were sitting there being like, hey, like Larkin has no leverage, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. But then realistically, you go deeper, maybe the end goal the whole time was to get Yzerman out and to get a new GM in here because he wants to show Chris Ilitch, hey, I do want to win.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of this.
And apparently Chris does not like bad press. So,
yeah,
No.
because he pulled the trigger and Steve Yzerman no longer is the GM.
I do have speaking of like this is a report Elliot Friedman, by the way, like put this stuff out, so I want to make sure we do read some of this, but we'll go to break. We come back because it's a lot. It's different candidates that the Red Wings are going to be looking at, and who can, and I have some names for you internally, externally. We'll discuss that. Let's take a break though. What do we got next here?
Water hazard.
Let me tell you about Water Hazard. By the way, stick with us. You're going to want to hear these names. All right. Water Hazard. Founders, Water Hazard. Go to Art and Jake's and grab yourself a can. Vodka-based cocktail. I love a good vodka cocktail, and Water Hazard is absolutely delicious. 5% citrusy, refreshing, gluten-free. Get those $5 cans at Art and Jake's. Any location in Michigan on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Please drink responsibly.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Some days call for light, others lean bold. What about everything in between? All Day IPA, the easy choice for every day. Citrusy, crisp, refreshing. Flavor you can float with. Light on the hops, big on refreshment. One's great. 2, even better. Brewed with you in mind. No shortcuts, no fuss. Big on flavor, never too much. All Day IPA. Hop into easy.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Campbell is in redemption mode.
No, make no mistake. It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
And Woodward Sports is here to cheer on the Detroit Lions every snap. Don't miss a moment of Detroit Lions coverage. Follow Woodward Sports on all social media platforms now.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
If you're sick and tired of fumbling those glasses or dealing with eye contacts, which I despise, you got to go to the people you trust. Y'all, the Eye Center. 30 years of experience, 100,000 procedures. They are the trusted experts. LASIK eye surgery, completely painless, takes just 8 minutes, and the recovery is so fast that most patients are seeing 20/20 the very next day. Right now, take advantage of their summer promotion, just $16.99. Yes, that's $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. One-time investment that I promise you over long-term will save you so much money on glasses, contacts, all that stuff. Wake up with clear vision. Book your consultation with Y'all the Eye Center. YallTheEyeCenter.com/$16.99. We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. We're talking Detroit Red Wings. Don't worry, we're going to get to Jalen Duren later in the show. We got Lions to get to as well. We'll get to Tigers. We're going all across Detroit sports. But I do want to bring up this report that I saw, again, just to give credit, Elliot Friedman. He went through some potential Red Wings GM candidates. So let me read off what he said about who and where they're looking. Okay, so per ESPN, the Red Wings process is expected to include multiple internal candidates, including Lidstrom, current Vice President of Hockey Operations, Sean Horkoff, Assistant General Manager, and Chris Draper, Assistant General Manager and Director of Amateur Scouting. He said, Elliot Friedman, the one thing that I've heard is that the Red Wings are going into this with an open mind. They will cast a wide net. I think this will be a coveted job. I think there'll be a ton of interest. And he also threw out there, Elliot Friedman, that maybe a name to watch, Brendan Shanahan, who was with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And they didn't renew his contract, so he would be a possible candidate, but former Red Wing. And the Maple Leafs, they haven't really made it far in the playoffs, but at least they've been in the playoffs, I guess, would be a positive way to look at it. He also drafted some pretty good players over there. But, yeah, those are the names. So, again, they're doing the wide net, casting a wide net for candidates that include guys that worked directly under Yzerman.
A wide net indoors.
That's like an interesting one to me, because it's like you're trying they were helping make Yzerman make decisions. Like that's what it was, right? Like Lidstrom and all them. They were out there helping, and they were a part of this regime. And when you are making a decision to change the kind of that position, the reason you're doing it is because you want to, and I don't want to say change culture, but you're trying to change the kind of the trajectory of where your franchise is right now. And if you go internally, how much is that changing? Like, let's say Lidstrom is the next guy up. He's in a lot of those meetings already, probably with Steve Yzerman. Yeah. So all of his ideas that he would have if he's the GM, like I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that, he's probably already thrown out there. So there's no fresh, there's no new. And I think that's why it's like with Shanahan, maybe it is because he was in Toronto and he wasn't here in Detroit running this thing. So maybe it is kind of a little bit of a fresh mind. I know he's played here with them and he's friends with them.
It's the same shit.
Yeah. But it's a little different though because he wasn't actually here making those moves. Like maybe he comes in and he's like, no, you guys were doing this all wrong all along. And he's like, this is how we do it, and this is how it should be done. That's what I think you need to get. You need to get a GM in here that like looks at what's going on and be like, we need to change everything. Yeah. Go to like Carolina, go to Florida.
Yeah.
From what I've been understanding is that they're in analytics. They've switched to analytics. They've switched to kind of this new age. Go get someone in that building.
I'm with you. I'm out. No offense to any of these names, by the way. I have a lot of love for these guys, man. I do. Like Lidstrom or Draper. I got nothing bad to say. Shanahan. Yeah. Please don't go internally. Okay? Please. To what you're saying, go out and get someone with a fresh set of ideas.
Yeah.
Because although, even Shanahan, who's with the Maple Leafs, is with a different organization, notice a trend with these names.
Yeah.
Former Red Wings, man.
How you need to get away from that. You going to follow Stevie Y with another former player? And expect fans to sit on their hands while you go through a rebuild.
And here's my worry about that is like there is this vibe I'm hearing things that maybe Chris Ilitch. This is why I'm curious. We read it yesterday. Who's leading the search? Steve's part of it. He's an advisor. It's Chris Ilitch is his
entertainment.
Yeah. Chris Ilitch does have a relationship with a lot of these guys because he was a kid when these guys were playing here and it was great. Hockey Town was Hockey Town. Can we get away from the biases? You know, like hey, I have a relationship with him, or I know these guys. Go get somebody like the Lions did. Brad Holmes, completely separate. Dan Campbell, he played here, but he was completely separate. Please. It's the same thing the Pistons did too. Trajan Langdon got him from the frickin' Pelicans. Go and do something different, please.
I think you just want to get a new viewpoint on this thing.
Yeah, and Shanahan I mean, even though he's a former Red Wing, I understand he might
be an outsider one.
Maybe it is partially because I'm just scarred. And I don't know if to what KG was saying, I don't know if I want to run back this former Red Wing thing again.
Yeah, Stevie was in Tampa Bay. What is that?
I like the thought process though of like with Brad. Brad was kind of a young up and coming guy in LA, and they went out and got that. Like that's kind of I think what they need to do. You need to go out and get a guy that's up and coming, who's been in a winning organization. He has seen like, hey, this is how the new NHL works, because it's not like it was in the past, and it keeps changing. It's going to keep changing. So you need to go get a younger GM, a guy that is like, hey, I want to prove myself. I haven't gone out there and I've been a part of Carolina. I've been a part of Florida. I've won as an assistant GM or something, but I want to do that myself in my career, and I want to move forward. You got to go find someone that's hungry like that, and that also, the biggest thing, knows how this new NHL works. That's what you need to do. You cannot go out there and get an old head, or, in my opinion, you can't go get an old head. You can't go get someone just because, hey, I'm cool with him. It's going to be fun to work with him. You can't do that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I talked about it a little bit yesterday, and I agree with 100% what you guys are saying. Like, you have to go out and get someone externally that's not in the organization right now, someone that's going to be Yzerman's puppet. You need to go get someone from an organization. Booner, you're 100% right. A guy that's up and coming, and someone that sees this team from an outside perspective. And obviously, you know, if he's coming here, that means he sees potential in this team and he wants to turn this organization around. But not only do I think we need to go externally, I think a lot of these things internally, I think we need to clean house. I mean, you look at the pro scouting department. The pro scouting for the Red Wings has been absolutely terrible these past couple years. And I believe it's Draper that is the amateur scout. He's the pro amateur. He drafted his own son. Like, what do we like? I know that's cool. Like, come on, what are we doing? Like, I know Sider's one of the best players from that class. Raymond's one of the better players from his class. But
not a lot of hits though.
But not only do I think you need to go externally for GM, I think you need to clean house to an extent, and that might be Todd McClellan too. Like, he might be a name that might be on the chopping block as well. Like, you look at this team in March, they just shut down in March, and I think a lot of blame has to go to McClellan for that. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, a new GM comes in, he gets to pick his head coach, he gets to pick his pro scouts, and they clean house to an extent.
Something that Sean brought up, would you guys be okay? Let's say it was like Sean Horkoff, and he decided to come in, but he hired all new staff. Like, he didn't keep any of the old regime staff. Would you feel better in that regard?
At least he is not a former Red Wing, at least as a player.
Right.
But
I think
it is someone who worked directly under him. But to your point, there is always situations where it's like the assistant GM doesn't get his ideas, and Steve might have, you know, it's like he's final say. So maybe there is a slight chance that I'm not saying you don't interview these guys. I'm just like, even people in the chat talking about what Shanny's done with like Toronto. Like, I understand where there's people like, no, I'm good. And someone commented, I forgot who it was, but someone's like, go raid the Panthers. Like, LF said that. Go raid the Florida Panthers organization. Like, I'm with you.
Yeah, that's and listen, I don't want to, and I will be honest, I don't want to like just fully clean house. I get it. Because listen, this is my belief when it comes to especially like a Wings organization, or it's the same thing. Like, I look at it like with the New England Patriots. When you have these franchises that are very, very like, what's the word I want to, like, how do I want to put it? Like, they're just not valuable, but like, you have a history. Yeah. You want to make, this is how my brain works. You want to make sure you have someone in that building that understands the history. Yeah. And like Chris Ilitch, maybe he's the owner, but like, I do want a Lidstrom around there. Like, I do want like a D-Mac around there. I want some of these guys around there. I don't want a guy to come in. I want a new guy, yes, but I don't want a guy to come in and be like, Yzerman, out. Lidstrom, out. Right. Like, all these guys, you're out. Like, I still want, you want that, because you do know there is that culture. It's just, you need someone in there that's new, that understands the new NHL. Like, that's what it is to me. Like, I think that's all it is, and I think you have to go out and get someone who's won in the last 10 years and that can see it and understands it. Like, when Yzerman came here, he had success in Toronto, or not Toronto, in Tampa, but like the NHL didn't really start to switch into the new age yet. Like now it is. It's a players' league. Everything's kind of switching a little bit. So you do need to get a kind of a new face in there that understands. I want to ask this question to you guys real quick because I wrote this down in prep. I want to make sure we get to it. In the chat, answer this as well. There's 3 options. I want to know where people want the Detroit Red Wings to go. Like what direction? Do you want to do a full rebuild? A kind of a half rebuild where you still, you have guys like Mo, DeBrincat, and you have still some pieces in there, Lucas Raymond, maybe even Larkin. Or do you want the new GM to come in and say, hey, we have the pieces last year. At January, we were first in the East. We have the pieces, but obviously Yzerman was 1 or 2 moves away that he wouldn't make those moves.
Load up.
Let's go all in this thing while we do have some of these young players that are actually good. They just need 1 or 2 pieces. Like, which one of those 3 do you want to do? Full rebuild, half rebuild, or get a new GM in here to go all in?
I think there's a couple dominoes that need to fall, and they will be determined by the new GM. So, and I'll say what I would do, but here's what the new GM has to figure out. What's Dylan Larkin's future? It might already be determined, but if there is a slight chance that maybe a new GM comes in and Dylan's like, you know what, I want to stay. That's a big one. Because if he's traded, what is he traded for? That's a big domino that has to fall. The next one. What happens with Edvinsson? He's a restricted free agent. Are you bringing him back? You should, definitely. But kind of what the new GM, what vision does he have, right? Figure out whether or not you're going to retain or extend or trade whatever Alex DeBrincat. That's another big one. Like, what's going on with him? So that, to me, those are some of the dominoes that's going to determine what happens with this franchise moving forward. Yeah. Now, if a GM comes in, he's like, we're trading Dylan Larkin, I'm getting rid of DeBrincat, we're going to bring back Edvinsson, but we're going to go young, it's a half rebuild. I mean, it just is. Not a full rebuild, but you're like, all right, we're going young, we're going to build this thing. If you have a chance to keep Larkin and DeBrincat, and you can break those, I don't think there's still hope, depending on what the GM you get. To me, the most likely outcome will probably be some sort of like half rebuild.
Yeah. I don't think
that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah,
based on some of these moves, how I think they're going to go.
Because I don't think they're a move or 2 away from a Stanley Cup. They are a move or 2 away from just competing in the first round of the playoffs.
And Larkin determines that.
Yeah,
I think.
So I don't think you have a choice but to go for a rebuild, honestly, because the players just aren't good enough.
This is the thing, though. I don't think you have to. I think full rebuild's out of the picture because you do have pieces. A full rebuild would be get rid of everyone. Like we're starting from the bottom. We're gonna go just draft picks again. We're gonna do a 4 or 5 year thing.
How many pieces do you actually?
I mean, you have Mo Sider. You have Lucas Raymond. You can re-sign DeBrincat. Like you can have a like. That's why I don't think this franchise, like when Yzerman took it over, it was a full rebuild. You started from the bottom, and obviously you had Larkin, but you needed to go completely rebuild. You're not at that point right now. Like you do have the franchise is in a better spot than when Yzerman took it over. At the end of the day. You can I think the minimum of this is a half rebuild.
Yes.
I heard Spenny say it last night on the Heavies, where Spenny, Red Wings guy, he does the Woodward Wings. Shout out, go watch them. Spenny's just like, hey, no matter what, like worst case scenario, they're going to be in the playoffs in 3 years, and it's because you do have a roster and you do have pieces and you do have young guys. And Yzerman did draft young guys that are kind of in the little, the minors, but they're sitting there waiting to come up. Like it's not like you're not deadbeat organization.
No,
you're just in the purgatory spot to where if you do decide, hey, let's the next 2 years miss the playoffs, but we can get back in this thing in 3 years. A full rebuild would be like 5 years. You're sitting there like just get rid of everyone, sell off every single piece. I think right now, Jeff's point's the best out of this. That Dylan Larkin situation
is the biggest.
That's going to tell how this thing falls. Because if Dylan Larkin comes back next year, you have to go back all in.
Yeah.
You can't half rebuild.
But I think if he goes, DeBrincat goes, and then you really don't have anything else at the end.
No, I think if he goes, you keep DeBrincat. You sign DeBrincat.
Possibly.
You have Lucas Raymond. You have Mo. You re-sign Simon, and you kind of move forward from there.
But you have a very, very young team, though, and they're going to need some good vets around. So I just think it's going to take longer than 2 seasons to get this team to a competitive playoff team, not just barely scraping into the playoffs or we're a couple points away at the end of March and stuff like that. To be a legitimate, okay, we're going to the playoffs this year, I think it's going to take more than just a couple of years or a half rebuild.
And part of that is DeBrincat. What does he want?
Right.
That's part of it too. We say resign him or keep him, but it really depends on what you see.
I would keep the only person at this point, like even if you're doing a rebuild, I think it would just be like let Larkin go, get what you can for him, and just restart that from without Larkin.
But at this point, why would players want to stay here? Why would DeBrincat?
That's where the DeBrincat thing. I'm very curious.
Yeah.
Let's say you do trade Larkin and you're DeBrincat. What's going through your head? You're going to be a free agent. Do you want to come back here, or do you know what you are? Obviously, he likes it here. I think living here, he's but I don't know. That's a big one.
He's 28. I mean, by the time you get this thing back on track, he's 30. He's not completely out of it.
I don't think it's promised
he's getting paid. I don't think it's promised he stayed, but if I was the new GM and Larkin was to go, I would do everything I can to
sell
him.
to him. Yeah, you could sell whatever to him, but
yeah,
I mean, and people are throwing. Actually, there are a lot of people in the chat feel like a rebuild, and some people feel half rebuild, but like Detroit Arrow, full rebuild. Outside of Cider, there's no one I care about.
Yeah, we got some super chats here too. Two from Michael Weary actually. He said, "Booner, can you please have a talk with Illich? Make the most sense I've heard all week. We need fresh blood leading the way." And he also said, another $5 shout out. He said, "Let the new GM add to what they have. It's not like the cupboard is bare." That's kind of where I'm at with it.
That's what it is. You know what I compare it to, and as crazy as it sounds because it's Chris Illich, I compare it to the Tigers.
I was just about to say
I don't think the Tigers, and I know like we've gotten in arguments early on, like they need to rebuild, get rid of everyone. If you're going to sell. I think it's one of those situations where you sell Skubal and you keep everyone else, and you kind of move forward from there. And you do have a good, I like to call it, you have a foundation.
Right, but
you have a good foundation.
I look at it, from the Tigers' perspective of, okay, yes, we do have pieces, but how good are these pieces actually? How far can we make it with these pieces actually? And yeah, you got some young guys in the system, ready to come up. But if you're trying to compete fairly soon, you kind of need to analyze, okay, how good really are these guys and how far can we take them? Because the results have been, at least in the Tigers case, they have a cap. They have a ceiling. They're not good enough as is to achieve anything really. So that's just, how the Red Wings probably need to look at it.
I think based on what we know, or at least the feeling, they're not competing in the near future.
Yeah.
Like near meaning the next 2 years.
And that's even with Larkin.
Yes, they still need more work. It's really just about if you want to stretch this thing out and go a little longer and trade pieces away and kind of restart. Because they were having this conversation on Woodward Wings as well. Like, if they do really start trading guys away, they would have a bunch of picks. But it's like,
you
okay,
accelerate.
Here we go again. You basically be starting over.
But I think the difference is you're not walking into what Stevie Y walked into with the books being bad, all these old veterans on bad contracts and stuff like that. You don't have to do 2 years of work just to get the team to a stable place. The team is technically in a stable place. You're just trying to compete at this point. So I think the job becomes easier if you do sell off some of your important pieces and you can jumpstart that. But then again, hockey timelines are different. I'm just a casual. But yeah, that's how I would go about it.
Yeah, LF, you have young pieces on the team. It's time to add established talent, a half rebuild. Yeah, I agree with you there. Let's go to break. We come back. Let's talk about this Jalen Duren report that was interpreted many different ways. Okay, and if you haven't seen the report, we'll give you the context of it. And if you've seen the report, you probably took it a certain way that I don't think you should have taken it. But we'll discuss that when we come back. We have to hear from our friends over at, Mortgage Pros?
Yep.
All right, let me tell you guys, if you are looking for a career upgrade, check out Mortgage Pros, the #1 mortgage broker to work for in the state of Michigan. We did see their incredible company culture firsthand at the annual block party with 4.9 stars on Google and over 4,000 reviews. Their reputation, it speaks for itself. So if you are looking for a new job, give Mortgage Pros in Troy a call at 248-416-1361. It's Mortgage Pros. Let the pros handle it.
Neil Rule and Sean Belizian wake you up every Monday through Friday on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. That's right, Big D Energy has moved to mornings. Get your morning dose of Neil's tone and Sean's insanity. Weekdays 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Two Detroit sports legends coming together for the best Detroit sports morning show there is. Big D Energy, waking you up weekdays on Detroit's #1 sports network.
Finally, life-enhancing LASIK surgery at a price you can afford. Michigan's most experienced eye surgeon, Dr. Yaldo, is offering the most advanced LASIK at just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. Imagine not just being free from contacts and glasses, but actually seeing better without them. This limited 2026 spring offer is thousands less than others charge. Go to YaldoEyeCenter.com for your free evaluation and save.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
My bad. My finger slipped. Little technical difficulties there.
Let
me tell you about Buddy's Pizza real quick.
Yeah, tell me about pizza, Caleb.
Buddy's Pizza. Look, for the past 80 years, they're the best Detroit-style pizza in the game right now. Save 20% on your next catering order with Buddy's on $200 or more with promo code Woodward20. Visit buddyspizza.com/catering to view their complete menu and place your order today. Tough one for the boy.
Yeah,
finger slipped.
You haven't had a situation like that in like a month.
Finger slipped. We'll recover from that.
I ain't hear a countdown. I'm like, I'm just over here in my own little world.
My
finger at the button wasn't supposed to. Fat fingers.
Man. Got that Neil Rule finger.
Yeah, fat fingers.
The Neil Rule finger's crazy.
Table's making fun of that finger.
Let's get to this Jalen Duren stuff, man, because
that's still a thing.
Yeah,
he ain't signed yet.
Well, so Chris Haynes, who everyone should know, he's one of the best in the business in the NBA in terms of reporting. He had this. I'll paraphrase, but people interpreted what he said very wrong. Like, you started seeing, big accounts like those NBA News rumor accounts and stuff like Jalen Duren is not happy and wants to leave Detroit. Here's the actual quote, or at least paraphrasing, but similar quote. Chris Haynes was essentially saying, and like he was talking about it, the Jalen Duren situation, he said if Jalen Duren takes a qualifying offer, then that shows he doesn't want to be in Detroit and he's not happy. But people said, report, Jalen Duren is not happy and does not want to be in Detroit. But Chris Haynes said if he takes that qualifying offer, which, by the way, newsflash, we've discussed that on the show a bunch of times. Like, if he takes a qualifying offer, he's chucking up the deuces. He's out of here.
Yeah, exact quote. If he takes the qualifying offer, he really wants out. He is fed up. He doesn't want to be there. Even if that's the case, I would say do not do that. So they were just having a conversation, and it wasn't like it got reported that it was like Jalen Duren is fed up with the Detroit Pistons. Jalen Duren wants out. He doesn't want to, or he's going to potentially take a qualifying offer. And that was none of it. It was just that if that comes down to it, which we've had this conversation, did we not?
Yes.
About the qualifying offer.
Yeah, I think it'd be stupid.
We've had the conversation about the qualifying offer, and Chris Haynes isn't wrong. If he does take the qualifying offer, it does show that Jalen Duren probably doesn't want to be here.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with Jalen Duren right now. I'm sure Jalen Duren right now is trying to figure out, how do I be there? Like, how can I be in Detroit? This qualifying offer is going to it's kind of like the Larkin thing. If Larkin comes back, it tells a lot. It's like this with Jalen Duren. If it's the qualifying offer, it tells a lot.
Yeah.
I've said this before, like, and I'm not an agent, but I'll speak as if maybe if I were an agent, I would look at Jalen Duren and I would say, my guy, do not, and under any circumstances, take that effing qualifying offer. I don't care if you don't want to be there. We're going to take the 30-ish million, and you're going to get paid, bro. Like, you're going to make sure.
And I'm going to get paid.
And I'm going to get paid.
Because that's what it is.
And then after that, like, and I'm going to get my check too.
Right.
But take the 30-ish million. Because we've discussed this too. Once that contract's up, you're still going to be in your prime. And if you really believe in yourself that much, Jalen, go out there and through this 4-year deal, 5-year deal, whatever it is, prove that you're worth $40, $50 million, $60 million, whatever it is. But right now, you're not walking away from $30-ish million that's on the table that's for you to stay in a system that you've thrived in with Cade Cunningham. It would be idiotic. It would be blasphemy if he were to just be like, yeah, I'm going to take the qualifying offer. You never know what's going to happen. Injuries could occur. You could regress. Anything could happen to where you enter next offseason, yeah, you made whatever the price is on the qualifying offer, which is like half of the freaking money's being offered, and you could end up losing even more money. So yeah, I would strongly advise against doing that. I think that would be, even if he's not happy, I would be like, bro, just tough it out. And if you get to a point now where you're in a players-led league, sign the contract in 2 years. If you're that upset, pull a Dylan Larkin, request a trade.
Yeah, there you
go. Another
request
option.
Request a trade. Take the money.
That's the biggest thing. Like, because they're like the sign and trade. I know the Pistons don't want to do that, but if it comes push to shove, like, just do that. Go get money somewhere else. The other option Chris Haynes kind of brought up within this clip was, hey, just sign. If you're really unhappy being there, I would not do a qualifying offer. Just come together on an agreement to a short-term deal. Whether it's a 2-year deal, a 3-year deal, but like to his point, he was like, it gets you out quicker, and it gets the Pistons to keep you as well for a couple years. And I think that would be the best option. Like, if you are Jalen Duren and you really don't want to be here, and the Pistons are like sitting there in a really weird spot, man, sign him 2 years to $60 million, 3 years, $90 million. And Jalen, you have 2 or 3 years to go out there, and then you could still get your bag at a young age. And if you're as good as everyone keeps telling me you are, and you're going to go out there and still have 20 and 10, and you're going to add a jump shot, and you're going to go out there and perform in the playoffs, guess what? Then someone's going to have no option but to sign you to a massive deal. And guess what, Jeff? Guess what? Mm-hmm. You sign a short-term deal, guess what that means? You get to hit free agency. Yep. You're not restricted anymore. So after the 2 years is up, you play this year and next year, you're in free agency. Go ahead, unrestricted. Go get your bag. If you want to come back, you can come back, but go get your bag somewhere else without us having to deal with that. So that was what Chris Haynes kind of took that next step. It was like, hey, if you really are going to sign a QO, just get a short-term deal done. Don't even do the QO.
If Jalen Duren's agent lets him take another prove-it deal, that's kind of the qualifying offer as well, he is a complete idiot. Like, why? You have the opportunity. Look, Duren, you went out there. You and your agent went out there and tested the market. Nobody's giving you $40 million, man. So if the Pistons are on the table, we've heard 100 different numbers. But if, like, the number on the table is 32, 33, 34, maybe even down to 30, just take it, man. Even like Booner said, okay, let's do a 2-year deal then. And then you could prove that you're a $40 million player in these next 2 years. But if he takes the qualifying offer, man, that is, well, number one.
But, yeah.
Him wanting to prove himself as a $40 million player, I could respect that, but it would not be a smart thing to do.
But that's not the agent letting him do it. It's all up to Jalen Duren at this point.
Yeah,
that's literally what we are sitting here waiting for. Jalen Duren, what are you going to do? Because the Pistons hold the leverage. They sitting up here, hey, we got the contract at 35 ready to sign. It's on the table. Like, all you got to do is come in the office and sign it. It's all up to what Jalen Duren wants to do. And like I said, I was one of the first people that said, hey, if he opts for the QO, that's going to tell me some things. Either, you were maybe unhappy about the way some things unfolded the whole time, or these negotiations were they pissed you off so much that now you are just ready to wipe your hands of the Detroit Pistons, which I feel would be a mistake. But at the end of the day, it's his career. He got to move the way he needs to move. But clearly, if you want to play another year on a QO and just hope for the best, I don't think that's the best move in the world. I don't.
And someone brought up in the chat, which I don't think we've really talked enough about this, the comparison between Jalen Duren and DeAndre Ayton's situation.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said it.
Yeah, and I do. So for those who maybe don't know or don't follow the NBA, so DeAndre Ayton has been on multiple teams the last couple of years. He just signed with another team. He was on the Trailblazers, the Lakers, and now he's with the Washington Wizards. He was a number 1 overall draft pick, someone who was a part of the Suns reaching the finals. Like, he was an 18-10 guy for them. And I loved Ayton coming out of college. Now looking back, you're like, damn, he just wasn't really mentally. Maybe he didn't have the mindset to be great, but he was pretty good with the Phoenix Suns. He was a restricted free agent. He was signed by the Pacers. 4 years, $133 million. So we're talking about $33.25 a year. So about $33 million. The Suns matched, and they brought him back in restricted free agency. And things went bad.
It was a disaster.
It was a disaster because whether it was the coach, the strained relationship with the organization, the coaching staff, whatever reason, he was traded, and then he was bought out by the Trailblazers, and he's never been the same since.
Now he's a journeyman.
So things change, and now do I think that Jalen Duren can be better in the NBA than DeAndre Ayton? I do. I have more faith that he will be better. But to say that this could end in a similar fashion, I don't think is out of the picture. Like, let's say theoretically he actually doesn't really want to come back and he signs a $30-something million a year deal, comes back to the Pistons. It's like, from what I've been told or what I've heard from JB loves him. The players love him. So I think it's not going to end like DeAndre Ayton, but that is something that you have to take into account for sure. Like, these things can end very, very, very
The issue, too, I'll tell you what, like, this is where you kind of get – so it just got reported today, Hunter Patterson, I believe it is. Who does he write for?
Detroit News. Or Free Press. I'll tell you.
Okay,
right
so he
right.
put something out there. He might be the Athletic, actually.
Is he?
I think he's the Athletic.
Yeah. Let me see. Yes, he is. Sorry.
So he is the Athletic. He put an article out today, and I guess in that article it says the Pistons, and this is where things start to get a little mixed up. The Pistons' number 1 priority this offseason, guess what it was, guys?
Bring back Jalen Duren.
Was to re-sign Jalen Duren.
Yeah.
And it hasn't gotten done. Like, that to me is like, That's an interesting tidbit.
But maybe they thought this negotiation would be a lot easier than what it has been.
Yeah, maybe, but that's the point, though, where it's like, if I'm getting to that point, to Jeff's point about DeAndre Ayton, to your point, KG, about they thought it was going to get done, we're in deep waters now. Like, and I know restricted free agency gets deep sometimes anyways and goes through the summer, but
you know what I think?
Those sign and trades that were on the table, you should have just taken those at that point. You were too.
The market is gone.
You were too locked in on me. Like, we have to sign them. We have to sign them. They should have never went into this offseason and be like, our number one thing is we have to get him back. We have to. Like, you should have had. If you're Trayshawn Langdon, all these analytics, everything's fine. Man, you have to have more of an open mind at that point. You do.
Well, it seems after the Isaiah Stewart trade and all that stuff, I think they definitely banked on him coming back.
Yeah.
Or they are banking on him coming back because, you trade Isaiah Stewart, your backup center. You don't really have one at this point. Paul Reed, but I'm talking true center.
And they hold the power, so I can understand why that would be their number one priority. We hold the cards anyway.
And maybe there was a feeling that you saw this being reported too, that if Jalen Duren signs somewhere, we're going to match it. They're maybe waiting on that. And
it never happened.
Never happened. Now we're like, oh, shit. Now we're here. It's like, all right, well, let's talk about what you're actually worth. And it's lower than what Jalen Duren thinks he's actually worth.
What worries me a little bit is that they would have matched anything. But some reason at the same time, the report is that they were far away on contract negotiations.
I don't think they would have matched anything.
No, but they definitely told them, like,
go ahead.
But maybe they would have went to 40
came back with 40
million.
a year. And would they have walked? Like, that's where I kind of get to the point of, like, your number one priority is to re-sign him and to bring him back. What if someone did offer him 40 a year? But right now the reports are you're at 30, so you are far off. Now what? You just let him walk, and then your number one priority this offseason just is gone?
That's actually a good question because, to be honest with you, like, if you're Trajan, if he signs for 40, you probably just got to match it. But now that he isn't, and now you have even more leverage. You're like, welcome back.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're going to take what we offer.
I think to start off, they were willing to go to 40, but now it's like the market's gone. You got to bend our wheel.
My issue is, though, it's like, hey, again, I'm just going to keep going back to this number one priority. That should have never been your number one priority. It should have been getting someone next to Cade Cunningham.
That's fair.
And if that was your number one priority, you probably would have got it done. So I don't like the report of, hey, their number one priority this offseason was to bring back Jalen Duren at any number, like we're going to get this thing done. No, it should have always been pair Cade Cunningham with another all-star to go win an NBA championship. It should have never been first thing, we want Jalen Duren back.
Here's where I'll push back with that. And I'm curious where you're at with it. We're the same show where we praised him for trying to get some of these stars, and those reports came out very early in the free agency period.
Yeah.
So do you think there's maybe a mindset from Trajan where he's like, I can do both. I think
there is a mindset
where
where
you can or Kawhi or KD, or maybe not KD at the time, but all these guys and get Duren.
He can do both. I think he had that mindset, but your mindset, if it's, hey, we want us to bring Jalen Duren back, right? Say that's your mindset. You're not going to try as hard to go get that number two. You're going to try, which you did.
I doubt that.
You're going to try, and you're going to make those moves just like you're going to make the calls. You're going to go out and look for Kawhi, and Kawhi says no. You're going to go try and get Tyler Hero. That falls through. You're going to go try and make that max offer to Austin Reeves. You're going to do those things, but in the back of your mind, hey, if your number one priority was always Jalen Duren, you're always going to fall back on that.
But exactly, Booner, you have to go outside to get that second score. Jalen Duren's already in the building. That's why I do think, it makes sense that was their number one priority. One, because of the pick and roll tandem between Cade and Duren is one of the best in the league, and it's been a big reason why Cade has been able to be the best player or, the superstar that we want him to be. So I get it from, he's already in the building. He's already technically going to be under contract. This is our first priority, but I don't think they put the second score on the back burner. I think it was a 1A.
No, I don't think it was a 1A, 1B because they say it. That's reported. Their number one priority was Jalen Duren.
But that don't mean
that doesn't. Again, I've never said. I'm not saying here. I don't want to get into an argument or back and forth. I'm not saying that they did it. That doesn't mean they didn't try. They tried.
You said.
But when you go like, hey, off season, right? Like,
I don't think it was less of a priority as one.
It was. If one was a number one priority, then that means that after that, it's less, which is fine to say. That doesn't mean you're not going to try. They're trying to get a number two. But if they were truly set, if it was a 1A, 1B, guys, Jalen Duren would have been on the table for a sign and trade to go get someone with Cade Cunningham. That's my point, is if you were serious about getting a number two with Cade Cunningham, these reports also of them saying they do not want to do a sign and trade, there were the conversations that was available, but as soon as those come out, guess what the reports come out? The Detroit Pistons do not want to sign and trade Jalen Duren. That means they're not fully in on getting Cade Cunningham a real number two. They're not. Because if that was the case, if that was the number one opportunity and the thing, Jalen Duren would have been on the table for a sign and trade, and you could have went and offered a Jaylen Brown. You could have went and offered for a Trey Murphy a sign and trade. You could have offered the Lakers a sign and trade for Austin Reeves. You could have made those moves, right? Like, I'm sure those could have been on the table. But their whole thing the whole time was, we want to do that without giving up Jalen Duren. which now you look back at it, hey, maybe you should have just shifted your focus to let's get a number 2 first, and if we could somehow keep Jalen Duren in that, then we can. But let's make sure we at least get out of this offseason with a legit scorer, ball-in-hand guy with Cade Cunningham. That's my point with this, is you should have had that mindset where that was your first choice, and then let's do everything to keep Jalen Duren.
But I think they didn't want the sign and trade because they thought this negotiation would be a lot easier than what it has been. In the same way of Cade, he just, even though the team was shitty, it was bad, he took the Supermax contract in which he got more money. Of course, he's the star of the team. But they figure, okay, Jalen Duren, firmly probably the number 2 on this team as of right now. This should be a little bit of an easier negotiation, especially considering he's a center, and the center market is what it is. And we got shown that the center market is what it is. So I think they went into it thinking this would be a easy, restricted free agent contract in terms of getting Duren back in the building. But it has proven not to be, because for whatever reason, whatever feelings Duren has, he has dragged this thing out way longer and way more than the Pistons wanted it to be.
And that's on them for assuming.
And I think the Duren thing too, like with him, like if you're going to sign and trade him, the teams that were reported at the time, you had the Kings that were an option,
and the Lakers,
and I know we talked about the Celtics as well because of Jaylen Brown, but I think we now know that Jaylen Brown thing was never going to happen. He was making too much money, so like even with that, I think they were just off the table with him. And the Lakers, they pivoted. They went. Maybe the Lakers could have been a team that you could have worked out something. I'm not sure what you would have gotten in return with that sign and trade.
Not much,
because Austin Reeves re-signed, so you couldn't have got him. So that's the point I made like 2 weeks ago. Is if you're trading, if I'm signing and trading you, I got to be willing to get something either I feel is comparable or an upgrade.
Right.
The Kings were the only team, but we had the debate like Sabonis. Okay, fine, we can have that conversation.
It's something, but
or Levine, but it
might not have been of what he wanted.
Yeah, and maybe that wasn't enough at that time to be like, all right, like I'm willing to do it. I get what you're saying. I do. I don't think
priority, man.
Because
like,
what you said,
you
said maybe he didn't try as hard to get that secondary square. That's where I disagree, because I think in his mind, even though if it's realistic or not, I think he assumed that, hey, we have a chance at Tyler Hero, and we're going to pair these guys with Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham.
We already got a 3-team trade in the works.
By the way, too,
and
Jordan,
it just didn't work out. It fell between the fingers there.
Jordan from Michigan put in here, getting a number 2 makes no sense if we trade Duren. Booner, you just want a trade to happen so bad. If we traded Duren and 2 firsts for Brown, maybe we were a bit better, but not going to win a chip. That's wrong. First of all, the Jaylen Brown stuff was never going to happen. But if you were to trade Jalen Duren for Jaylen Brown, you're a championship team.
Different.
This is the issue I'm running into right now. Is with this current roster with Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren as your 1-2, you're also not winning a championship. You're not. I'm sorry. You're not going to. So in my mind, I think with Cade Cunningham and a real number 2, a guard, a wing, someone who can actually score the rock at a high level and go out there and get yourself a $20 million big man outside of Jalen Duren, that's more likely to win a championship than it is with just Cade and Duren. It is. It's a fact. We saw the Knicks do it. We've seen teams do it. Go out there, get a 5-man that's like not as expensive, a $30-40 million 5-man like the Celtics did when they had their cheaper 5s, and you go out there and get 2 really good wings in this league, and you go out there and try and win it. Like that's you have more of an opportunity to do that. So that's my point to where, hey, going into this offseason, guys, I don't care what Trajan's mindset was. It should have been get Cade a number 2. That's what I'm saying. And by the reports that came out this morning, their number 1 priority was Jalen Duren. Yeah. It should have been flipped.
But I don't think
it should have been second, and then it should have been to get Jalen Duren here.
When you look at how the offseason played out, though, you got way more reports about the Pistons being in on a number 2 scorer than you did Jalen Duren. That's why I don't think it took a back seat.
We heard
That's all.
I'm not saying it took a back seat.
I mean, that is kind of what you're saying.
No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the report today came out that their number 1 priority – I'm not making this up. The report was Jalen Duren.
Yeah.
The number 1 priority this offseason.
Somebody who's already on our team. That makes sense to me. Like, I get what you're saying. I just don't think the second scorer took a bad seat. I didn't.
No one said. When did I say backseat?
So that's where the 1A, 1B thing.
And I don't think it is. I think it's 1 Jalen Duren, and then it's 2. It was get a number 2 scorer. That's what it was.
Yeah, but
if it was 1A, 1B, they would have done everything they could to get a number 2 scorer.
And they did.
Literally, you said it yourself.
They could still do that. They could have signed and traded Jalen Duren. That's my point.
But you weren't going to get much with a sign and trade of Jalen Duren.
But Booner, this is where I'm struggling to understand. You have been on the forefront with me about how much he's tried. So I'm confused
He
where
has
you took a
tried,
step back today.
but if it was your number one, you would put this Jalen Duren stuff second. You would be like, no matter what, like right now they are hard headed on getting a Jalen Duren thing
because that's all they have left.
But if they would have gone into this offseason and they would have said, no matter what, we're getting a number 2 for Cade Cunningham, they would have. I know they tried, but they would have succeeded. They would have found a way. They would have gotten Kevin Durant.
Then why do you come on and be like, well, he has been trying?
He has.
Everything.
I'm not saying he hasn't tried, but I'm saying it would have gotten done. Whether it was one of the ones they tried.
That don't negate the argument.
Caleb?
That don't negate the argument.
I think personally that it's kind like them saying that that was their number one priority. I don't want to say it's like a stretch. Like Trajan went to the offseason knowing they needed another scorer. He knew that.
He attempted to
get in every freaking conversation.
Yeah, yes. they knew that. And I do agree with KG and Jeff in the sense of like it was their number one priority. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't technically think it was their number one priority. It's a 1A, 1B thing. That's the way I'm looking at it.
That's what I don't think it was, or they would have gotten it done.
Because it's hard. It's hard to be like, well, the report says it was the number one priority, but then we can say, well, the 18 reports we read the last couple weeks said they've been in every conversation for a number 2.
They've been in conversations,
so
but it hasn't
we'll use
gotten
our reports.
done.
It's the same level of urgency.
But here's the thing: you're saying they haven't gotten it done, but again, we've been on the show talking about, hey, they didn't get it done, but he's been freaking trying.
Right.
So I'm just wondering why today that doesn't matter now.
It matters. That's why I think that was their second priority this offseason was to get another guy with Cade. I think it was their number 2. In my opinion, I don't think it's that crazy. Flop him. Like you should have gone all in, which you could say they did, but if they went all in on it, guys, like
just because it didn't get done,
let's be
don't
realistic.
Mean it wasn't a priority.
I'm saying though, once you kind of if you go all in on something in the NBA, you can get something done if you want to get it done.
But at what risk, Booner?
The risk, give an extra first. You could, Jeff, you know this. You can get stuff done if you wanted to. That's all I'm saying is saying just put one over the other. They should have put that one over the Jalen Duren, and then we can get back to
but one didn't affect the other. They are two different things. He could have done both. He could have signed Jalen Duren and still went out there and got the second score.
But because he put the second one, Jalen Duren, a little bit more ahead that one, they didn't get it done.
One doesn't affect the other.
They both affect each other.
No, like, for example,
you got to pay Jalen Duren.
He could have gotten Tyler Hero and had Jalen Duren, but we don't know if he was even available. That's where it's like, well, he could have gotten it done if you wanted to get it done. There's things that he can't control. Like, if the Bucks are like, hey, bro, we're keeping him. We're actually not trading him anymore. Then Trajan's like, all right, strike. Austin Reeves, you want to come here? Oh, he's coming back to Lakers. Okay. It's like that stuff you can't control. You know what I'm saying? Trey Murphy, let's go get him, right?
All right.
Oh, Pelicans hit you back. Yeah. We ain't trading him. That's out of Trajan's control.
Yeah,
like Kawhi Leonard. He said, "I'm not signing in Detroit. I'm going to Toronto. I'll sign an extension." That's out of your control.
I do.
I get what you're saying, but there's some things it's like it is out of his control.
But again, in the NBA, you can get a deal done if you want to get a damn deal done.
I just went through all the examples.
But I'm saying, like Trey Murphy, dude, you give an extra first and get the thing done.
They're not trading him.
And you're essentially saying
they said that after the fact.
You're saying that it took a backseat to Jalen Duren, and I just don't agree with that.
KG, you got to stop saying it took a backseat. I never said. I'm just saying, just put one a little bit more over the other.
So you think because they prioritized Jalen Duren that they went less in on a second scorer, and that is essentially saying they took a backseat on the second scorer?
I'm not saying they went less. I'm saying they could have gone a little. You could go a little hard. You could actually, if you have an opportunity out there, Trey Murphy, which people say was not available. He was available. He was. They just didn't like the fact that they wanted 4 first.
But nobody else traded for him either.
Because they offered so much. If you're the Pistons, you really want to win. Throw it out there.
Yeah, but if no other team is going to give up 4 first-round picks, why would I?
But you're nuts on the table because you want to win.
It's not like he's a fucking MVP caliber player. It's not like it's the Jalen Brown trade.
That's it. Okay, we'll move on because we're talking in circles at this point. But we can go to break. What do we got now?
Let's double up here. We're gonna go. Let's start with Icon Auto, then we'll hear from Supreme Lending.
All right, we're excited to welcome Icon Auto Repair and Collision to the Woodward Sports family. If you've been in an accident or your vehicle needs repairs, make sure you trust the team at Icon Auto Repair and Collision with 3 convenient Metro Detroit locations in Madison Heights, Shelby Township, and Pontiac. They've got you covered. They offer free car loaners and even offer to pay your deductible. Visit iconauto.com. It's the Icon you can count on.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Supreme Lending. Man, buying a home or refinancing is a massive decision. You got to go with the people you can trust. Chris and Chad are the people I trust and you should trust. Mention Woodward Sports. when you head over there. You will receive up to $500 off your appraisal. They got a 97% customer satisfaction score for the people. Score the deal. Call the numbers on your screen and talk to Chad and Chris at Supreme Lending today.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
It is time for Mad Packs. Just had that Maui Wowie last night, and boy, was I wild, man. But listen, they are good people trying to give you good products and have you feeling good for the summer. So why wouldn't you partake in some of this Mad Packs goodness? And right now they're promoting the gummies, the Boom Shakalaka 200 milligram hash rosin gummies and the Hilo 200 milligram live resin gummies, along with the Mad Packs extracts and blizzard packs and the tarantulas, everything that you need to get right for the summer. So make sure you go to getmadpacks.com. Mad flavor, mad high, Mad Packs.
And let me tell you guys about Art and Jake's. If you guys like Tigers baseball, Woodward Sports is heading to Art and Jake's in Shelby Township for a Detroit Tigers watch party. Come hang out with the crew as we will be live Wednesday, July 22nd at 8 p.m. as the Detroit Tigers, they take on the Chicago Cubs. You won't miss a single pitch with over 80 wall-to-wall TVs, 22 draft beers on tap that will keep you refreshed, and a menu packed with absolute fan favorites. Come party with us, grab a Founders, and watch the Detroit Tigers take down the Cubs. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. I just want to get to some of these super chats, or at least the one we missed. Eric, appreciate the fives. Is who was he going to sign and trade JD for? He didn't have a market. Well, I mean, he did have the Kings did want him.
Yeah, it was a market.
It was. I don't know if they felt the same on the other side.
It wasn't the best market you could make the argument, and you weren't probably going to get your number 2 out of that trade. So,
hey, could have got your boy Zach LaVine, Caleb. Hey,
possibly.
The what if?
Yeah, the big what if. What if the Pistons got Zach LaVine and went to a championship?
Yeah, could have got someone.
50, 40, 90 guy.
But, you know, you guys are right.
You would have got a replacement for
You couldn't have gotten anyone here. 0 for 100.
I can't believe you're just completely out on the take you had 2 weeks ago.
I love you.
Well, no, I get it. You try. Like I'm with that. I respect
you're
it.
Right.
But what did I say when I said that? Had that take? Do you guys remember what I said? I said, but at the end of the day, like I said, right now, him starting to make those moves and putting yourselves in that position makes him at that moment the best GM. But I also finished it off with saying, but you have to finish it. You have to get it done. And he hasn't. And I've said you're not winning a championship if you don't get a move done. And he didn't get a move done.
Yeah.
Like it is. People in the chat are saying it's like a participation trophy. It's the same thing with Brad. Like, well, the difference between Brad is Brad just made the calls just to say he did.
Yeah.
Trajan tried, but at the end of the day, it's one of those things where you could try all you want, but if you don't get it done, guess what? You're probably out of a job in a couple years.
No, and agree.
So you got to eventually get it done, and you can't go into this offseason having the best offseason potentially you could have, where you control free agency, you control the trade market, you control everything. And one, you if your number one priority was to sign Jalen Duren, you still haven't gotten that done. And then 2, your next priority was supposed to be get a number 2 option. You haven't got that done. So now you guys are sitting here telling me the top 2 things that you had to get done this offseason, you still haven't gotten done. And then you guys are just sitting here and be like, oh, that's okay. No. You're 0 for 2 so far, your top 2 priorities.
But that's a different argument from what we were talking about.
But you're going to tell me that this team's improved a lot and they're still going to compete next year. No, it's not. You're 0 for 2 with your number 1 and number 2.
I don't think they go into the gutter. I mean,
that's why. But that's why we had the discussion. Is it a disappointment if they don't? For sure.
That's a different argument.
Yeah, but that's what we were discussing is what was on what was
The
a priority for
priority
Trajan.
list.
I think he went into the offseason and he's like, 2 things I want to, 3 if you want to add shooting, he's got to add shooting. But it was like, I got to find another dude and I got to resign Duren.
And what I'm saying,
we can argue the 1 and the 2. I think Trajan equally was
what
like,
I'm
we got to get
saying,
these 2
if
things
you
done.
went into this offseason with the mindset of I'm getting a number 2 no matter what, you could have done that.
But that's where you making the mistake. It might not have been no matter
I'm not
what
saying
for
what
Trajan.
that's where you're not listening. No one's listening. I'm not saying that that's what his mindset was. I'm saying it should have been that.
Okay.
That's what I've been saying from the jump. It should have been, first, let's get a Cade Cunningham duo. Let's do it.
But because
and
it
I know
wasn't
he
his
tried.
Yeah.
But if you want, again, this is my point in the NBA and the NFL, MLB. If you want to get something done as a GM, guess what you can do? It can get done. Now, there's limits to it, and that's what's happened here with him. He doesn't want to handicap, but if, in my opinion, you go into this offseason saying no matter what, and especially when you controlled the free agency market and you controlled the trade market, get it done. Like that should have been that's what I'm saying is my number 1 priority. It should have been that.
And all we're saying is that just because it didn't happen don't mean it wasn't in the priority list.
And that's where you guys are hitting me back with an argument that I said that it.
Okay,
I never
fine.
said it wasn't.
I'm not. Then I won't go back and forth.
I never said it was on the back burner. It was in the back seat.
I
did not say.
But
go
I mean,
clip
it's
it.
alluded
You
to.
did
It's
say
alluded
the
to.
back burner, but you retracted it after, which is fine.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a
Clip
misspeak.
it.
Okay, that's fine. But maybe
You ain't say
misspoke.
those exact words, but that's what you were implying.
Maybe that was something you were talking about. But we won't go back and forth.
Yeah.
I'll just say for me with this whole thing, and we'll close it off here. I'll just give my opinion on it. You have your take on it. I think Trajan went the offseason, 2 things on his mind. Trajan said, you know what, I got to get number 2. He's tried. He's basically hit on every single available star player or borderline star player, and I don't want to play the excuses game, but I looking at every isolated situation, we kind of have an explanation to why.
Is
all
it
those
good
didn't
enough?
work out.
Is a different argument.
And then the Jalen Duren thing, like I know he hasn't gotten it done yet, but it's going to happen at some point. I mean, if he signs the QO, you handle it from there. I don't think that happens, so we'll see. But I understand being frustrated. I'm not saying you're wrong for being frustrated.
Yeah,
I'm going to be. I've been saying this for weeks. Like the guy's been in every conversation, and I can be disappointed, but I could also be like, you know what? It's not Brad Holmes, by the way. It's not. Brad Holmes, there was not – if Brad Holmes had an offseason like this where the big-time reporters, Adam Schefter was like the Lions were one of the teams that were in on Max Crosby. They weren't. It was Dallas and it was Baltimore. You saw that. You didn't see the Lions in on those conversations. It's not like Trajan. It's not at all. So Trajan I'm willing to give a little bit of a break to. But, yeah, we can move on. I mean, we spent a lot of time on it anyway. Let's talk some Tigers, eh? Because yesterday we put out the reel of us talking about rebuilds. Man, we were getting – I didn't know people felt a certain way about the Tigers. People just do not see a rebuild anywhere close. And I understand that there's players to be excited about, and even if you trade Skubal, you can kind of figure some things out there. But I could not believe there's people. This guy's an idiot. The Tigers are one of the hottest teams in baseball. They're going to be fine for the future. Even if you trade Skubal, they're going to be fine. Come on, man. And I'm with Boone on this. I'm excited. I'm fired up. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm bought in. I'm bought back
Listen.
in. And can they still make the playoffs without Skubal? Yeah, they could. I do think so. But if we're talking like long term, fuck. I still believe, and I'm with Neil on this. Like you're blowing out the fucking candle. I still say that.
So what are you saying they should trade Skubal? Is that where
they have to? Yes. And if they do, I believe the future without Skubal is there's still question marks, and I would lose a ton of confidence. Yeah, could they be a fringe playoff team? Potentially, but their ceiling drastically lowers. So yeah, I mean, whatever they decide to do. If you want to rebuild, if you want to continue, do like a half rebuild. But
Caleb,
you're in a way worse spot.
I want to ask you this because you always push back, and whether you say you did or not, a couple weeks ago you joked around with me and said, "Hey, I'm getting close to watching them and being back in a little bit." You did say that.
Noted.
They have the second easiest schedule remaining. Are you going to get back in at any point?
I mean, if they start winning like some serious games. Now here's what I'm afraid.
If they do what they did this last month, are you in?
Well, if they do what they did their last month, they're back in fully into the hunt. But what I'm afraid is going to happen is that they, win a couple series. Maybe they drop one. Like they're playing like close to like 500 ball coming out of the break, and then Scott Harris looks at the team and says, "Oh shit." Like, okay, like, we're 2 back in the wild card. we're going to keep Tarek Skubal and we're going to let this thing ride, then we're going to lose Tarek Skubal for essentially nothing after this season. That's what I'm worried about. I asked you this, Booner, on the phone. I guess I told you this on the phone the other day. What makes me not confident about this Tigers team, and I know they've been playing really good baseball these past 2 months, but every night when you turn on the Tigers, you don't know which team you're going to get.
Thank you.
You're not getting a consistent team. And when I think of World Series teams, when I think of serious contenders coming out of the American League, just teams that are going to contend for a pennant, they don't have inconsistencies like that. That's what I'm worried about. So, yeah, but I think they could come out of this All-Star break with an easy schedule and win some ball games. But again, I'm not fully confident every night that the Tigers are gonna play well. So it's just that inconsistency that makes me worried, I guess.
And I do realize that the AL is weak and there is a spot for the Tigers to maybe crawl back into this thing. But you got to also look at, you're approaching the trade deadline, and a lot of those good teams in the AL or the teams at the top of the AL, they're going to go out and they're going to buy and they're going to get better. They're going to get way better than what you can probably do, at the trade deadline as the Tigers, because there is an element of, I have to worry about the future here. I think it's clear at this point that the Tigers have no plans in offering a contract to Tarek Skubal at the price point that he wants, which, if you want to do that, that's fine. That was kind of the point of this season anyway. Hey, we're going to give him the arbitration money, and we're going to just ride this thing out to the end and see what the fuck happens. Unfortunately, disaster took hold very, very early and put a hole in those plans. So now you're just looking at, do I really want to try and scrape and claw to get to the end of this thing, and maybe we don't make the playoffs, but we have held on to Tarek Skubal, and I have missed the chance to maybe jumpstart life after Tarek Skubal, or the MLB after the salary cap is implemented, or whatever is going to happen. Did I miss my opportunity to make this team better in the short term? And I think you have to consider that if you're Sky Harris at this point, because even if they do go on a magical run, all that is great, but if they're not a legitimate World Series caliber team, I don't see the point in trying to continue this, and that's why I felt so strongly about
this, and I get that. I understand that as a fan. You want to have that, but I told Jeff this in the back. I think Tigers fans have to realize, in the way that baseball is right now, you will never have a World Series caliber team unless you're like the Dodgers. You won't.
Unfortunately, yeah.
You won't. So, if you're a Tigers fan or in 90% of the markets around baseball right now, you can't just be like, oh, we're not World Series caliber, I don't want to be in the playoffs.
No, I'm not saying
that's
that.
Where it's like, hey, even if they trade Skubal, they have a rotation. They are, in my opinion, going to be good enough to potentially still make a playoff run. You are in a market to where you always are going to have to be that. You are. Unless, like Caleb told me this morning, unless the CBA and you kind of get that, or the Players Association, you have the lockout next year and they put a salary cap on and all these changes get made, then we can start having that conversation. But with the way baseball is right now, Jeff and I had that conversation. We're like, dude, you're never, even before this season, we're like, oh, we're World Series caliber. Are we really, though? With the Dodgers, the Yankees, are we really?
No.
And
so
that's why for me, it's like, hey, I don't mind going forward with get what you can for Skubal. If you can get a guy that can play now for you, or a couple pieces, and as well get maybe some future assets, if you can do that, you have a rotation right now that's good enough to make a run still at the playoffs with what you have.
Possibly,
and
yeah.
You, as a Tigers organization, you're in a market, and I know people hate to hear you haven't won since, 84? You're in a market, guys, to where you're always going to be in that spot where you just have to get in and try, and you have to hope for a miracle run. That's where you are. It's the same thing with most markets in baseball right now. This isn't the NFL to where you can go out there and build a team, or you can go, the NBA with these different aprons, or hockey with the salary cap. Now it's baseball. You're never going to get a World Series caliber team at that level unless Chris Ilitch out of nowhere is like, I've already re-signed Skubal to the biggest contract.
Yeah.
I'm signing this guy. We're going in free agency with the biggest open bag of all time. It'll never happen.
No, I get that. But if we were maybe even in a better position, let's say like the Blue Jays, who have spent a little bit more money than the Tigers but have yielded better results, or a Seattle Mariners type team in which they have a good enough roster to say, okay, yeah, let's just take a crack and see what happens. We'll try to add a little bit at the deadline and let's just see. We know we don't have enough to contend with a Dodgers team, but, any given, we can go out there and something could happen. The Tigers haven't been a bad team because, they're a good team and they're just struggling, or the injuries held them back. They're a bad team because they have bad pieces on the team. And they've had these same bad pieces for multiple seasons now. And I think we've had enough of a sample size to see, okay, they have a ceiling. It seems to be they are only divisional round good. Can they be maybe one game better and get into an ALCS? Yes. But what does that even mean at the end of the day? They could get absolutely trounced in the ALCS series. And I do get your point. You still want to just roll the dice and see. But the way this season is going, I think that kind of took that out of the window. I mean, just based on how it went. If they were at the top of the AL competing for the Central like they should have been, I would be more inclined like you.
But again, like you could argue at their best, and again, I get Caleb's point, like you don't know what you're getting. At their best, though, they're the best team in their division.
And at their worst,
they're the worst. but as of right now,
they haven't been the best team.
But as of right now, they're the best team in their division. Take record away in the last 6 weeks.
But you are what your record is.
But again, right if we're talking about this since 2-1, they have the best record in the AL.
I get that, yeah.
In the AL, I'm not talking about just the Central. I'm talking about the AL.
But
who's letting them get hot?
We've seen this story before.
Are you in or out, Jeff? Because listen, you need to. I'm gonna make sure I put my foot. I need to know.
No, I'm rooting.
I want to know.
Let him watch a Tiger game.
I'm rooting for.
Are you with me or are you without me?
It's a weird way to phrase that.
I know, right?
I am with you. I want them to make the playoffs.
There we go. I got Jeff.
I want them to make the playoffs. I was just confused by the people that were. I don't know. There's a line for me though. Like KJ, you're the guy to ask for this because you seem to be down, and you're probably a lot of Lions fans, Tigers fans. Where's this team heading? You trade Skubal. We're talking like after in the offseason. Like, what's the future look like? Are you talking rebuild, half rebuild? How do you think it goes?
To me, it's looking like a rebuild because if Skubal leaves, you're gonna have to sell off some of these pieces.
KG's honestly not the only one that I've heard say full rebuild.
No, I mean because you're not gonna keep Jack Flaherty. You're banking, and Scott Harris is banking on his draft picks coming up to this club eventually, and that kind of being the core of your team and what's gonna carry you in the future. Some of those pieces aren't ready just yet. So in the meantime, if you trade Tarik Skubal, I don't think you're anywhere close to competing for the World Series, let alone just the playoffs. So I think you have to make some adjustments to the team in terms of getting more bats in here, getting better arms in here, and seeing what some of these young kids are going to do. And that screams rebuild to me. That screams, okay, we're at least 4 to 5 years away from actually competing, and that's how I kind of look at it.
See, that's where I'm just say I just disagree because I just – you're never in today's baseball. You're never going to get to your World Series contender.
But you won't. With baseball possibly.
So like, if you want to take a rebuild, like right now, you're like you could keep some of these pieces and you can keep building. You're as close as you're going to get. You're starting a 4 or 5 year rebuild to where KG, you're going to get right back 4 years later. Guess what's going to happen?
No, but
you're going to be saying the same exact thing because guess what? That's the way baseball is when you're in this market.
But that's why I say look at the pieces and determine, are these pieces actually that good? Riley Green, sure, we'll put him on the shelf, but Spencer Torkelson, Kerry Carpenter, some of these other big names that have produced for the Tigers before, are these names really good enough to try to continue this thing?
I do think there are names that it's like, no, you can move on from, but a full rebuild would be get rid of everything. To me, it's just
you'll put the
there's
team
a couple guys you can kind of upgrade. And I think you need to look at that. I think this year you make a playoff push. This next offseason, you trade Skubal right now. You make a playoff push with what you have, and then this offseason you look to upgrade guys like Kerry Carpenter, Matt Vierling. You look to upgrade some of these different pieces.
So that's where we differ. You think they can still win after Skubal? I don't think.
Yeah, I think so. I think the rotation's fine. I think you still. I think right now, I think what you do is you trade Skubal. You re-sign Casey Mize. Me and Caleb had this conversation. I think you give Casey Mize an extension. You roll forward with him, and you kind of just keep going from there. And you kind of just build and build and build. But you have, again, it's like the Wings. You have a foundation. And you don't. And to me, it's like you don't want to break down. A full rebuild is you break down the foundation and you start from dirt. You don't want to do that. I think you still have foundation. You have walls in place. You have a couple doors. You have some windows. You need to build the full roof, though. You need to finish this house off.
To me, your foundation is Riley Green and Kevin McGonigal. That's what I feel like the foundation is. But go ahead.
No, not to me. Them going into rebuild, it means Tarik Skubal means nothing to them going into a rebuild, in my opinion. The play, and you just alluded to it, Boone. It's all if they trade Casey Mize, then they are going into a rebuild. But if they trade Tarik Skubal, your rotation's not bad. Fremont Valdez, Casey Mize, Healthy Jackson Joe, Troy Melton, who's been phenomenal, Kaider Montero, who they've used as like a Swiss Army knife, who I believe is a really, really good pitcher in the majors. If they trade Casey Mize, you're going into a rebuild.
Yeah.
If you keep Casey Mize and extend him, I think they are confident in the rotation that they have going forward. So the direction they're going in isn't fully dependent on the future of Tarik Skubal as a Tiger.
No, it's not. But at the same time, based on the Tigers' moves in the past, what leads you to believe that they're going to want to pay Casey Mize upwards of $20 million a year, just based on what they've done up until this point? That doesn't seem to be something that they want to do, especially with this regime that doesn't really seem to like the Al Avila guys.
And I think too, when I say rebuild, I think people mean trade every single person on the roster. I'm not saying that. Okay, I think there's definitely pieces you would keep. I'm not saying you trade everybody. It's like the Red Wings thing. I know it's like, oh, you're gonna trade Lucas Raymond. No, I'm not saying a full rebuild. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to get the vibe on the room. We do have to go to break, and we could probably talk some Lions. I think we should squeeze in some Lions for sure. I do have a take I want to get out on Roger McCreary that I've been feeling some type of way about, man. I keep seeing, I mean, I'll explain when we come back from break. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Thrive.
We need to get Scott Harris some Thrive, man. If you guys need some energy, it's time to upgrade your game with the Thrive Energy Pouches. It's a tobacco-free, nicotine-free mental powerhouse packing 300 milligrams of clean and smart caffeine, including alpha GPC and L-theanine. No jitters, no sugar crash, none of that. You can find it as well. You can see it on the screen there at dipstop.com. Promo code WSN for 15% off your entire order, or you can find them at all Market Fresh and Market Square locations. It's Thrive. They just effing work.
Building a whole combat sports enterprise in the heart of it in Detroit, and that's what I think is the coolest.
I think with opportunity, right? Like you said, maybe you like to punch people in the face for real, and you want to be a boxer, and you have an option there. Maybe you don't like getting punched in the face, and you want to make, you like the theatricals and the storylines, and so you have an avenue here. Maybe you start at one and then want to change to the other. I don't care. I just want you in the building and know that you have some place to go to explore that. Just having the ability to, what do you want to do and how do you want to do it to the best of your ability? And, it all starts with the kids.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Big shout out to Loom Cannabis, a place that I frequent pretty regularly. But right now they are promoting their new Buzzin' energy drinks, and y'all know about the Buzzins already. 7.5 milligrams of THC, but now they have found a way to put caffeine in it, 100 milligrams to be exact, of green tea extract. So it's going to keep you up and feeling good and not groggy and ready to go to sleep like some THC drinks would. You can try it in refreshing peach and raspberry lemonade. Crack a can, catch a buzz, and keep the vibes going. Available at all 40 locations across Michigan, and you can learn more by going to loom.com. And don't forget, 30% off your entire order, online or in store. Use code WSN30.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. More to get to. I want to talk some Lions. Okay, we've done another show mostly without even really getting to the Detroit Lions. And ESPN, this is what I want to address. So ESPN came out with their X factor or breakout player, better way to say it, breakout player for every NFL team. And the Detroit Lions, out of all the names you could think of, right? Breakout players. ESPN has Roger McCreary on that list. He is the nickel, going to play nickel this year. He's 26 years old. He's really good in college, actually, at Auburn. Drafted in the second round. He's been with Tennessee for 4 years and went to LA last year. and here's where I'm at with this. Like, breakout player, there's some good players on the Lions that you could probably point to and say, that guy could break out. The TA was going to be mine. Okay, so
that was actually going to be yours this year.
Yeah, I talked about our breakout list. Remember we had that top
did you
5?
Have TA one?
You did.
I had him like 2.
I
had him right there. Yeah.
Damn, funny story about that.
Yeah, we can remove off that list.
Yeah,
I know he actually still might break out.
Right.
He hasn't. Well, he won't break out anymore.
Yeah. Might break out of prison.
No, that's right. Well, what I will say though about this Roger McCreary stuff is like I think Roger will be. I think he's a very fine player. He's a very fine player.
All right, Terry. Terry Falls. You're a very fine local ball player.
Very fine local ball player. He's a capable nickel corner. He can tackle. But I'm out on like the break. Guys, this is where we're at in the offseason, and I fall victim to this where, and my co-host over here, he gets fired up. He'll even tell you himself. He gets fired up a lot, and he throws out some takes. And he told me, he's like, Jeff, it's the offseason. Like, I get fired up. You start throwing out, offensive player of the year. This guy's going crazy. This guy's going crazy. And by the time you're done, you're like, shit, we might have a Hall of Fame roster.
Yeah, 10,000 yards.
10,000 yards.
We might actually.
This is where this like Roger McCreary breakout player thing, it's like, guys, we got to chill. We got to chill, man. Like, he was with a team in the LA Rams last year that needs corners, and they let him walk. Like, let's keep it 100, man. Like, they let him walk, and they needed corners. Do I think Roger McCreary's a bad player? No, I do not. But I think if people see this and they see, Roger McCreary, breakout player, like, yeah, look out for Roger McCreary. We got to adjust our expectations for Roger McCreary, okay? Yeah. Like, I'm very consistent. I'm high on Keith Abney. I still think Keith's going to contend for that nickel spot. I said it a while ago that I think he ends up getting the job by the end of the year. So I'm being consistent here, because if I think Keith Abney takes the job from Roger McCreary, I disagree, will be a breakout player. So, I love the excitement, but guys, like Rodgers, he signed. Look at the contract numbers. That's what the NFL thinks of him. Okay, all due respect, but check what he signed for with the Lions. Like, I do not foresee a breakout season for Roger McCreary. I'll go to you on this.
Yeah, I'm not going to push back. I'm not going to. When you said that, I was like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, Roger McCreary is going to be all Pro Bowl. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. I got nothing.
It would be awesome.
I think it's cool, like an ESPN. I think it's honestly when I see that, I just in the back of my head go, oh wow, like that would be, like Jeff said, awesome.
It'd be awesome.
That'd be
like,
awesome.
That would be ideal to have a guy, especially if any position group needed a breakout guy where we're like, comes out of nowhere. It's probably the secondary. Yeah. Like, we're desperate for that. So I think if it happens, like, that's a home run from Brad Holmes.
I mean, my thing is define breakout, because I mean breakout can be subjective, and of course he's.
I think it depends on the player, right? Like, because like for him, his expectation was just he signed for $2 million. I think for him, if he's a good starter for you, that's breakout. Yeah, like it's not like breakout needs to be an all-pro. He just needs to be a solid starter.
That's
for you.
My point. You hit the nail on the head.
It's like when Meek. Remember when Meek came over?
Exactly.
It was like, what's a breakout for Meek? If he's a starter for you for 2 years, like, or however long his contract is, beautiful. Yeah. That's how I look at it.
You can't expect a lot. He's playing the nickel, and he's a veteran on a very low contract. You can't expect that much out of him.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think them saying breakout is like him saying, he's going to have 12 picks this year. I don't think it's that. But what are your expectations of a breakout?
Can we get...
Okay, my expectation is he's going to keep that seat warm for Keith Abney.
Man. Damn.
That's what I expect. Keep that seat warm, man. Keep that seat there. The corner out. Hey.
Is this a biased answer from you? Is you trying to put your boy Keith Abney up?
And by the way, Jeff, I'm gonna give you just some insight behind the scenes thing. I'm doing everything I can to get Keith Abney on our show. I'm doing everything for you.
I've been trying.
Klotz is working with him. I've been texting Klotz every day. Where's he at?
And I'm not even doing this because he might join the show. Like, it's gonna be a great storyline when he does, and we get to talk about the take. But yeah, like, my expectation for Roger. Hey, Roger, man. You know, like the guys the guy that holds the sign at the airport.
Oh no, you can't. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
No,
you went too far.
Rogers at the nickel spot holding it. It says Keith Abney.
You went way too far.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You went way too far.
That's a little crazy,
was that too far?
bro.
Dude, way too far.
Chat, was that too far?
Yeah,
I think so.
Come on, man.
I know you trying to get your man started, but come on, man. But I think it was clear what Jeff's
Roger, I don't want no smoke, man. I don't want no smoke.
Can I say this? Can I give a player out? I know the narrative. Hey, Booner, you're giving out a lot of different players for breakouts. Can I just give a play? This is a good. I'm not giving a player to be an all-pro or nothing. I'm just. Can I throw a player out there that I think is going to have a big year?
Sure.
Let me ask you guys this first.
Oh, God.
It's another offense.
Guess what side of the ball. Guess what? I want you both.
Offense.
Offense?
Defense.
To be consistent.
What position group do you guys both think?
I mean, you've hit on Amon-Ra, Goff, Gibbs, Laporta. I mean, I'm going to go.
I'm good.
It's going to be an offensive lineman.
I'm going to say linebacker.
Ladies and gentlemen, Booner's breakout player of the year.
Malcolm Rodriguez.
Defensive tackle Tyleek Williams.
Oh, okay.
Tyleek.
I knew it was defense, though, for sure.
Look, Tyleek has the talent, guys. He's got the Aleem body. We talk about Aleem as like, oh, he's the $30 million guy. Guess who's going to pass Aleem McNeil up this year? It's going to be Tyleek. And people are going to start talking about Tyleek as that's your guy inside.
So Tyleek and Levi.
I think Tyleek's going to have a big year.
You think Aleem out of there?
Yeah, no, I think Aleem's going to maybe stay.
Keep it warm.
Yeah,
because
Tyleek.
Aleem McNeil's sitting there with the sign at the airport for Tyleek Williams. He's sitting there with Tyleek Williams.
That's crazy.
No, I really do, though. I'm being serious. I do think Tyleek has a big year. I think
I can see it.
Because he is a first-round draft pick. He has more talent, in my opinion, than Aleem did coming out. And you expect that from a, 27th, 28th overall pick. He struggled last year, and typically you see that year two jump a lot with guys, especially when they struggle a little bit in their first year because it's, hey, I got to get my feet wet. I got to feel what this is like. What is the NFL like? What's the world like? Offensive linemen are built different, and every week you're going, even if it's a bad team, you're going up against dogs on the offensive line. I think Tyleek now has that under him. He understands it, and I think now with the full offseason, the talent that he has, I think he takes a jump.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a breakout guy.
Back to Jeff's point, and I'm going to give you a chance to maybe bury yourself a little more here. So is it a situation in which you feel like Roger McCreary will lose his starting – let's say he's the starting nickel. You think he'll lose his spot throughout the year to Keith Abney?
I do, and we're going to bring it back here. I'm going to be a little more,
Yeah, reel it in a little bit.
Yeah, reel it in a little bit. I don't think Roger's a bad player. I don't.
Okay.
I just think Keith Abney, once he gets kind of the feel of the NFL, I just think he's more talented. And I think he'll translate really well to the NFL. And I think he's going to fit really well in what they like to do here. There's things that he needs to do. He needs to add a little bit of weight. Like, I understand that. But I just think by the end of the year, it's going to be, if it's a Brian Branch situation where he comes in and plays really well, that's awesome. I'm not going to compare him to Brian Branch.
Yeah.
But, I do think as the time goes, I think we'll see. This is getting way too deep in the woods, but I'll throw this out there anyway. I think there'll be times the first couple games where people are like, Roger,
Go home, Roger.
Good moments, bad moments, kind of a meekish. And then I think people will be like, let's get Keith Abney in there. And I think at one point he gets the spot and he doesn't lose it. I think it's like that. So, in all seriousness, like, Roger's not a bad player. I just think Keith Abney's really talented. I do.
Go home, Roger confirmed.
Yeah.
By Jeff. So.
I cannot. That's one of the craziest, I think, analogies I've ever heard on sports talk.
What analogy?
Saying that as of right now, he's technically our starting nickel. That he's just basically holding the sign at the airport for the next guy.
Yeah, no, it was wild, for sure.
For the next guy. Like imagine saying that. Yeah.
Those are the views and thoughts of one Jeff Iafrate.
That's Jeff Iafrate.
Not Woodward Sports as a whole.
I would like Roger McCreary to work out, and I would love Keith Abney to work out too. I would like both to work out.
I got my burner in the chat. Jerry Miller, it's my burner. Thomas Harper will ball this season.
Damn.
No, hey, Jerry. Just wait till I get to my other take about who's holding the other sign for no, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I did see a tweet.
I'm kidding.
I saw a tweet yesterday from an account that was like Thomas Harper, the most underrated player on the line.
I liked. You always gave me crap for it. I like Thomas Harper.
There's just better. He's not like you're not like.
Obviously, with Brian and Kirby healthy, he's not playing.
But like
if he had to fill in, for somebody,
yes.
I'm cool
but the issue is, it's like,
and he could start for now.
He's not a long-term fill-in.
He can't start long-term.
Yeah,
he would start somewhere.
No, he would not.
Oh,
That's your difference. That's the difference between me and you.
You see me right now?
You're calling one guy.
You see me right now?
I'm locked in.
Want to know what? You want to know where Thomas Harper fits in this? You have Roger McCreary holding the sign, and then when they walk to their limo, the driver looks back and it's Thomas Harper.
Damn.
You know what? Throw the flag on that. Throw the flag on that.
Flag on the play.
If
Thomas Harper's good, by the way. I feel bad. I'm not.
Let's think about it. Let's look at some safety rooms in the NFL. Thomas Harper would start at one of those.
You didn't break any of them down. You just said think about it.
If that safety room is in dire
this might be a homework
disarray.
assignment. This might be a homework assignment.
Yeah,
I don't know every safety
room.
I don't know every safety room in the NFL, but I do think Thomas Harper is.
To be fair, when I was pushing back on the Thomas Harper stuff, and I know we don't do PFF, but I did go look at PFF. I'm like, I'm going to get him. Like, he's going to be like 90th. He's like top 15.
Yeah, dude, he was like top 10 in coverage.
And I was like, maybe he didn't play a lot, and he played a lot.
Right. Oh, my narrative.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is not good. I can't use this.
I remember that, Jake. You're like, how many snaps, though? And then you looked like, shit.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough look. He is a solid
That's why I'm
backup.
kind of surprised by Jeff's response. I think McCreary's going to be pretty good, but I understand.
it doesn't fit my narrative.
It don't.
Keith had me. I'm rocking with my guy here, so we're letting it go.
Understood.
Let's head to break. When we come back, we'll get to more. We got to kind of close the show out here. We actually have an interview as well. We're getting a chance to speak to Mary Scott, the VP of Marketing for Planet Fitness, to kind of discuss what they got going on as well. So a lot of things planned in the last 10-ish minutes of the show. What do we got here, Caleb? Amnesia.
Of course, we got Amnesia. You know the brother gonna keep these weed reads coming. But Amnesia is proud to be available at all of the top dispensaries across the great state of Michigan with multiple products for adults 21 and up. Their newest launch is the Switch. It's a 2-gram dual chamber disposable, and it has liquid diamonds with 2 chambers and 2 different flavor profiles. You can enjoy the left, you can enjoy the right, or come together and make a high sandwich in the middle. But discover your new favorite with the Switch by Amnesia.
Jameer Gibbs, breakout season, loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone, touchdown!
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around.
Finally, life-enhancing LASIK surgery at a price you can afford. Michigan's most experienced eye surgeon, Dr. Yaldo, is offering the most advanced LASIK at just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. Imagine not just being free from contacts and glasses, but actually seeing better without them. This limited 2026 spring offer is thousands less than others charge. Go to YaldoEyeCenter.com for your free evaluation and save.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Shout out to Gold Crown. Shout out to Gold Crown and the new Royal Jesters that have just dropped. Or actually, they've been here for a little while. They had the Royal Juniors, but they also have the big boys, 1.5 grams each, and they are all quad infused. That means Keef coated, live resin infused, THCA diamonds, and terpenes, all packed into one big beautiful joint that'll have you saying, yeah, you are good after this. Michigan made, top tier, no shortcuts. Next time you hit that dispo, don't think, just ask for the Gold Crown Royal Jesters, because come on now, y'all know the slogan, smoke like royalty.
And if you're looking to take your relaxation to the next level, you need to go to Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills. Experience the difference with Dr. Eric Duncan, the Wellness Doc, and creator of the #1 YouTube channel for massage chair reviews at the Wellness Doc. Book your visit today at massagechairhouse.com or simply scan the QR code on your screen. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. Mailbag, Danny G. Mailbag. This is not a question, but thanks to Jeff, I can guarantee one Lions player that won't be coming on the show.
To be fair, opposite sides, I can guarantee at some point one that will be.
Yeah, well,
yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Really got
if
that
you're
one
Roger,
going.
you're not thinking to yourself like, they drafted this nickel. Like Roger's job is to make sure he don't get to see the field.
Yeah.
And like, but he knows 1 year deal. They drafted
sure,
Keith.
yeah.
Like the most likely outcome is Keith's going to be here for the long term.
Possibly.
Obviously, there is that maybe Keith doesn't work out and Roger stays. But,
Yeah.
Roger's been in the league. He knows what it is.
He's a veteran.
He's a vet. He knows what it is.
I think he can hold it down for the year,
Yeah.
and then you just worry about Abney next year and give him a year of development. But that's just
We'll see. Smash the numbers. Mailbag. Which will take longer, the rebuild of the Red Wings or District Detroit?
Hold on a sec.
Smash the numbers.
District Detroit has been a while, so
Oh, that's the name.
Yeah.
I'm so dumb, dude. I thought you were trying to say smash the like button. And you just,
Actually, smash the like button.
I was like, for a second, I was like,
Please do.
is Jeff okay? This smoke's really getting to the guy's head, man.
I just passed
It's
out.
not the buzzing.
I just passed
You're
out.
right. Just pass out.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
dude,
not the buzzing drinks. It's
My
okay.
brain right there was just in a full blender. Longer the Red Wings or District of Detroit? Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
acknowledge
Detroit.
how great of a question that was.
I think
I'm gonna vote on the
Detroit got the lead.
I'm gonna, well, he might have the lead,
It's
but I'm
like-
gonna vote the finish as the
You
win.
ever see those babies race at the arena?
Yeah.
Where it's like that. Like you got a slight lead, but we're gonna
But
keep watching.
it's one of those things where it's like the babies just they both veer off,
Yeah.
and neither of them goes to the finish
You're
line,
right.
and we got like, oh no, get him back, get him back. Oh,
Wait,
no.
what is it? Dante Mailsack, has Booner and Jeff seen the video of the heavyweights having someone on their show who works for PFF, and Spenny made up the stat, and the guy
I did
took
see
the
that.
bait.
Confirmed. That
It was
actually happened. Yeah.
It was our guy Trevor Sycamore. It was shout out
actually
Trevor.
took it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He was
Yeah,
like, oh, something about this.
He
like,
asked him what is a PSAT or something like that, and my mails was trying to explain it. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's a fake stat, by the way."
That's
funny
hilarious.
as
Shout
shit.
out Trevor too, man. Oh, he's not a PFF anymore, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, that is true.
No longer there.
changed it. Let's before we close the show, we want to do something very special. We want to have on Mary Scott, part of the Woodward Sports family, Planet Fitness, VP of Marketing, to talk about what Planet Fitness is doing for the people. Let's please welcome her on. Mary, how are we doing? Thank you so much for joining our show.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
We are great. Well, we're trying to be with what's going on outside. I know the air quality isn't very friendly as of late, but I do want to talk about what you guys are doing, and I do want to kind of read for people that may not know. So, Planet Fitness locations in Michigan, Indiana, Ontario, Canada. They have announced free club access now through Sunday, July 19th. We know Planet Fitness is for the community, for the people, but can you kind of talk about this is a big deal for people that are looking to work out and get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. We know that people, they love their workouts. It's summertime. People want to be outside, but it's we're obviously being recommended to stay inside right now. So what we have done is we've gone ahead and made our gyms open to anybody. Anybody can walk in. Just we've got actually 60 locations in the Detroit area and 115 throughout the state. So all you have to do is just walk in, go up to the front desk, sign a waiver, and you can have access to the gym for free. And this is planned to run through close of business on Sunday.
I do want to also ask you, Mary, kind of even with that, one thing that I love about Planet Fitness, and Jeff and I were talking about it a little bit because he has a younger brother that's a teenager. You guys do the annual high school summer pass again this year. Can you talk a little bit about that as well? Because you guys continue to keep doing like amazing things like that, and then on top of something like this going on with the weather and the air quality, to be able to be like, hey, people could come here for free to work out if they want. Can you talk about that as well too? Kind of just both of them combined with the high school summer pass.
We're here so that people can get healthy. That's why we exist. We want people to be able to maintain a workout routine. And for the teenagers, we want them to be able to start it during kind of those formative years. So this is the 6th year that we have offered this, that kids ages 14 through 19 can work out for free. And that program is live until August 31st. And again, you can actually, for that one, you can go on the website to register or walk into any one of the Planet Fitness locations. And that is available nationwide at any PF throughout the country.
And Mary, before we get you out of here, I do want to ask you, because I can relate to this. I've been a Planet Fitness member for the last year. I switched over from another gym, and I tell the people constantly, like, obviously it's a more budget friendly, and I get to lift the same weights, so it made so much more sense for me. I actually go to the Chesterfield location on 23 Mile there, so I love that location. And I've been telling people, and we talked about it when we do the reads, you guys are always making improvements. I mean, and that's the special thing about Planet Fitness. The one by me in Chesterfield, they remodeled it. The other gym I went to out here, they've been remodeled. Can you kind of talk about why the urgency to always continue? A lot of gyms settle. A lot of memberships I've had in the past, gyms are staying the same, but you guys at Planet Fitness just continue to improve the gym and the quality of the gym.
Yeah, I mean, we really want members to feel the value for what they're paying for. And we know that we don't cost that much to join, but we think everybody deserves to have a nice place to work out. And so, yeah, you will see us frequently doing new equipment where we'll move out the cardio or the strength and bring in new machines. And every 10 years, a club's going to get a complete facelift where they're going to do a remodel, which is what we just did out in Chesterfield.
I just want to say, I mean, we're about to end this, but I just want to say, hey, kudos to you guys for doing this weekend.
Yeah, it's big time.
Letting people go in there, especially with the air quality. It is bad air quality out there. It's insane. I know there's a lot of people who want to get out there and work out, and hopefully everyone in our chat and people who watch Woodward Sports go take advantage of this, really.
Absolutely. I do want to say before, just to kind of remind people, again, Michigan, Indiana, Ontario, Canada, Planet Fitness locations, free club access now through Sunday, July 19th. So please, they're offering, and whatever location you are nearby, you mentioned 60-plus locations in just the Metro Detroit area. And don't forget, I also want to throw in there that you mentioned it, but I want to make sure we mention it, the Planet Fitness High School Summer Pass. Please, ages 14 to 19 can work out in Planet Fitness for free all summer long. Register online, planetfitness.com. Mary, VP of Marketing at Planet Fitness, we appreciate you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem.
Definitely, thank you so much.
Take
There you
care.
go. That is Mary Scott, VP of Marketing for Planet Fitness, talking about what they're doing, again, for the community. So please go get involved and go take
go to
advantage
Planet
of
Fitness
it,
this weekend, man.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Like, you see something like this, go. You got Michigan, Indiana. I don't know where people are listening, but if you're in any of those areas, Ontario, Canada as well, go get involved.
I'm going to go today. Royal Oak. I'll be there.
Yeah, it's awesome. So shout out to them. Shout out to the fellas in the studio from Jeff Iafredi, Booner, KG, Caleb Zarnick.
Yep.
Great show. Tomorrow, Friday show. Should be a great one. We'll end the week on a great show as well, so be there 11 to 1. Braylon and Anson 2 to 4, heavyweights 5 to 7. Hit that like button before you go. It takes a second to do it, and we appreciate you.
Have a day.
Crunch Time Sports, Woodward Sports. Peace.
Love you guys.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafredi and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.